Dressing up. I'm a very calm guy when it comes to clothing, so I'm just normally dressed in my blue DA suit.
The importance of supporting local?
I think it's very important. We are all talking about growing the economy and creating jobs. And if we really want to do that, apart from all the macro things that will be announced, it's so important to support local businesses, because that is where, on the cold face of creating jobs, we can make a difference and we can put money into the pockets of people. Why import something from somebody else and make somebody in a different country rich? We can assist some local people in South Africa, and we've got such a lot of talent that we don't have to go and look for everything overseas all the time. We can find everything right here on our doorstep.
Fantastic. Next time I speak to you, I'm expecting beads on this tie. I'm going to put you in touch with a designer who's going to be incredibly amazing for you, so that we can show our diversity, yeah?
I will always try anything new.
Okay.
As long as it's not too flamboyant. I don't think I'm going to put pips on my shoulders, but we can try it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
And
thank you.
How beautiful Minister Delors.
Oh, Minister, I'm tempted to say Auntie Pat.
No, not a problem. Are you my brother?
I'm finding you.
You look lovely
You
too.
look absolutely gorgeous. We're talking today about wearing local.
Of course.
And the impact of buying local in the country.
Yes.
Tourism plays a big role.
Yes.
Let's talk fashion. Let's talk the role of the department.
Yes. You know, South Africa can stand up on any world stage with the local talent that we have. I will be the first one to admit we must do more to promote our local talent and culture and fashion, to the rest of the world. But, this was inspired by Sandy Masabuku. And, her label, Fabrus Sans.
Fabrus Sans, yeah.
Yes. And the print itself is also local. It is an aerial photo of the city of Tshwane. So this is to the capital of Tshwane. And as you can see, we've got the rands and cents there. So it's completely South African. No dollars here.
But we still want the dollars. We still want the dollars.
Of course, we want them. And the American tourist has grown by more than 10% in 2024. So they're coming.
A lot of people are coming. I mean, we are the host of the G20 summit happening this year. And I think when we talk about tourism and we talk about those opportunities, have you given some thought into how we're going to involve the creative industry and especially people within the clothing, textile and leather
It's
stuff?
going to be a showcase of South Africans.
Yeah.
We're the first country in the continent to host the G20.
Yes.
We're excited to welcome the world.
Yes.
And you know what is our biggest asset? Our people.
Yes.
Ubuntu,
Yes.
that warm welcoming
Yes.
that they always display in welcoming people. So it's a great opportunity, and we want every South African to be involved. Sports, arts, culture, tourism, everyone will be involved. We're going to go do outreach programs to the communities. I'm hosting the tourism ministerial meeting in Mpumalanga because we spread all the business meetings across the country. And we're all very excited. And we rely on every South African to make sure that we do our bit. Let's behave while the people are here.
Let's wear proudly South African produced products and clothes. Yeah.
Yes.
Your outfit looks absolutely stunning. I love the inspiration, the picture of Tshwane. I'm from Pretoria, but I also love the detailing.
Also, I'm a piano.
I'm a piano.
Yes, I mean they were really born in Tshwane.
Yes.
And so there's the culture and the street culture that you see in the capital city. It's what we must celebrate. And this is what the print represents, that culture, the street culture of our capital.
I would like you to turn around so we can see the outfit again. It's so detailed, guys. It is so gorgeous. And the rands and cents, we were talking about money. I mean, we do produce literally a huge amount. We contribute almost 1.7.
Sandy Masabuku is young, but the talent that she's got. And she's creating jobs with a label, Yeah. I'm very happy for her.
And women empowerment.
Oh yes, of course.
So I'm looking forward to the conversations we're going to have with tourism and how we're going to collaborate and making sure that a lot of our people wear local.
I can't give you my card now.
Yes, look at me receiving a card. I'm getting a card. Immediately. This is how we do it, you know. We don't talk. We talk and we action. You get the card right there, and then we connect you.
My cell number's on there, so you can get me anytime.
We spoke about being accessible and reachable, and for us to be able to do a lot of work with the tourism department. I am looking at one of our chairpersons from the Proudly South Africa, and we're going to be talking quickly to him and looking at us here at SONA. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If just
My name is Howard Gabriels. I chair the board of Proudly South Africa.
Amazing. This initiative started last year at SONA. It's our third installation. How proud are you to see a lot of our people wearing local today?
It has been a real challenge to get to this point. We have been campaigning for this over many years.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful that the President and the Presidency embraced the call for us to wear local on this particular day. But now the message is that we must wear local every day. It's really important that we encourage consumers that when they go shop, especially for clothing, that they look at the label.
Right.
And when you look at the label, then you can see where you want to create jobs.
Yeah.
Do you want to create jobs in South Africa or wherever else the label says? And I think it's really important that we embrace that call to not only on a big day like today to wear local, but to make it a tradition in every day.
Are you wearing local?
Everything.
Can we look at it? I mean, this is local everything.
So
That's our chip. This
suit was made in Salt River.
Yeah.
The shoes are made in one of our own leather factories.
Yes.
The shirt is from a shop in the Canal Walk that only sells shirts made in South Africa. So I'm very proudly South African.
I'm Proudly South African too. That's our chairperson of Proudly South African board. Thank you so much for joining us. This is how we do it. You know, you are able to identify where you bought it. You check the label. You know who's designed it. You know how many people have got in to making this beautiful outfit. We're not excluding men, right? We always talk about fashion as if it's something that only happens for women. We do know that women contribute like 60% of the workforce of the fashion space, but men also do contribute, you know. We've been talking a lot about like diversity, equity and inclusion, and it becomes important for us to diversify our conversations around fashion. I'm looking at a beautiful, oh, look at how gorgeous. Look, I mean, like every time you see this, you just want to like melt. How are you? Good, thank you. Cause introducer, please. And then please, let's see your full outfit.
Okay, mina ke xa ndichaza abantu ndiye ndithi ndiyimvelukazi emanzandonga. Igama lam ke inako ifani ndingumatheza ndiyinzwakazi neminyaka eyi-19 ndim ke imbongi ezakhe bivulela umongameli namhlanje apha eParliament ngaphakathi. Inkosi.
What inspired your outfit?
Isizathu sokuba ndinxibe kanje njengambongi besenditshilo esi sinxibo ndisinxibe apha sisinxibo esiye sithi sinxitywe ngabantu abangoomama kodwa ke abantu abangoomama abasemendweni. Isizathu sokuba ndisinxibe into yokubana ndifuna izizwe zibone ukubana eyona nto ndiyifunayo kakhulu into yokubana ndifuna sibuyeleni embo kuba uyawufumanisa ngoku ukubana abantu abangoomama xa besemendweni banxiba ezafasikoti ufike zithungwe ngamalaphu kanti esona sinxibo fanelekileyo unxitywa ngabo sesi kodwa ke bekumele uba ndinxibe inkciyo kuba kaloku ndiyintombi ehlolwayo but ke ngenxa ye-protocols ezikhoyo apha ngaphakathi zokuthi ezinye iindawo funeka ndizigqume ngoko ke xa ndizawuthi ndinxibe ivesti ndinxibe nenkciyo ayiseso sinxibo senkciyo eso yiyo loo nto ke mna ke ndikhethe ukubana mandinxibe sisinxibo namhlanje.
That was education. That was like a whole cultural education for me. She's our praise singer today and will be leading. It's beautiful to actually just see young women and the involvement of our presidency and parliament of the youth. You know, we've been talking a lot about youth development and we've been talking about the inclusion and diversity and culture. You look absolutely beautiful. Good luck for today. Have fun. And then please tag whoever oyenze le outfit yakho, le bag yakho, ubathege so that sizokwazi ukubasupporta abafazi bakhona abasebenza apho. You look gorgeous, okay? Stunning, stunning, stunning. Have a great one. She looks absolutely stunning. She's young, and she's going to be opening today, the praise singer, and she's looking absolutely stunning. I saw Papa Penny earlier on, and we were talking about like our Sibelani, you know. But now that we are here, we're joined by an MMC in the city of Johannesburg, Mr. Kunene, a friend of ours. We're talking wearing proudly South African brand. The theme today, they said, you must be formal or traditional. Yes. Let's talk about your outfit. I'm seeing Versace.
Thank you, Tammy, for having me. Look, I wear local all the time.
Yeah.
But today I'm wearing a suit, as you can see. I never had the time to go to our local designers. You know, I've worn David Tlale so many times. This Edward
look at the face of judgment.
This Edward Dresler. This is a Dash shirt. This Gucci tie. Egna belt. Versace shoes. Versace watch. Versace shades.
Did I just hear that? I have like 4 people in studio who are going to sit and talk to you and talk about your outfit and do the math. You know, because we're calculating the monies here that we're making, and we're creating jobs for people in the country. So you look gorgeous, but I'm going to let them judge you and comment on your outfit. We're not saying don't buy international stuff. We're just saying let's be all inclusive. But you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you very
but
much.
There is also David Tlale, Tulasindi, SC Apparel.
I've supported them many times. I continue to support them. I continue to support them.
I'm going into fashion.
Today, I wanted to be very formal, and this is what I had.
Okay, that's Kenny Kunene. Enjoy your evening. Oh, we're talking diversity, and one of our friends is here, Fasiha Hassan.
Hi,
Has the surname changed?
well, actually, this will be the first time I say it publicly, but it's Hassan Duma now.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, this is Mrs. Hassan Duma in the flesh, and it is actually the first time I've announced it. I've just gone to Home Affairs to change it officially.
Amazing. We're talking wearing locally produced outfits. Proudly South African is here again at the State of the Nation Address 2025. I know we've had this conversation. Young people, the role that have to play in creating jobs and fashion at large.
Yeah, so today it's a bit of both. It's a BRICS and a South Africa. So it's the I in BRICS from India and the S for South Africa. So the South African shout out I have to give is to Lisha Chotu. She's a local designer from my area in Homestead Park, from my home ward, actually in Ward 58. But this is also from India. So it was a little bit of a play on what we're trying to create in terms of the global order. But more important, and this is the fun part, it's like a modern sari. So a pre-draped sari. Should I do one more?
You can do
Let's do one more.
One more. Look at that.
Yeah.
Modern sari. Tell us about the detail.
So it's a pre-draped, which is why it's kind of fun. So it's got the traditional vibe, but it's also got a few modern notes by making the jacket and, giving it a bit of a young sort of feel.
Right.
So that's what we're trying today.
We spoke about BRICS. We're talking G20 opportunities there as well for people to play in that space. Young people. Are we having side meetings? How are we contributing to that?
Look, so G20, people don't understand it's a really big year for us. It may not come in a very long time. Very importantly, we have to get young people, but we also have to get creatives such as yourself to the front. We seem to only be focusing on policy, and I think there's a lot more that needs to happen to bring in people who have been historically marginalized into the process.
I love that. That's do you want to say it one more time?
Mrs. Hassan Duma.
Mrs. Hassan Duma. She's looking absolutely gorgeous. We're going to discuss the detail of your dress and the colors. They look absolutely nice. It's the trends that are moving. You look gorgeous. The mix, love, 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 love. Keep supporting local. Mwah. Thank you. Oh, she looks absolutely nice. She does, ne? It's the detailing and the mix of India and all those things. I was talking about my outfit earlier on, and I was literally saying, these are like recycled pieces of fabric, that's there, and some of this Chitonga Shibelani that I've got on here. We're going to take a couple of guests, but before, I just want to do a quick catch-up with our CMO of Proudly South African, Ms. Happy Ngidi, and just get a sense of what she's been picking up on the streets, how many people she's seen, and how proud you are today.
I'm very proud. I'm local, and I'm lekker, and I'm proud.
How many people, like three and third installation, looking at all of this?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing to see the movement. You know, many people have made an effort. They look amazing. And they've heeded our call. Our call to action as Proudly South African in Parliament, which is a partnership. They have clearly heeded the call. They look absolutely amazing. And they're brave enough to tell us who dressed them.
Yes.
Because they are wearing local. Isn't it wonderful?
It's
been
just
such a long journey.
I mean, I think it continues. It continues, and you've been pushing that narrative and that conversation. I'm happy to be standing right next to you, but I want to know who you're wearing.
I'm wearing Scala Designs, babe.
Yes.
Scala Designs. Must I do a twirl?
You need to do a twirl yourself. By the way, Scalo, you did the things there.
The thing, Scala.
You're looking absolutely stunning. I want to start grabbing more people, but you and I are on a job together.
We've got a call that we've got to talk to Minister Nomvula.
Yes, we have to.
we've
Yes,
got to break her.
yes. I'm going to grab. You need to just follow in a second. I'm going to grab somebody else who is here, looking absolutely stunning, on our carpet. This is how we interrupt. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. I'll take comments and I'll be with you guys in a second. Yeah? Let's go. Let's go.
And of course, we have a lot of homework here in the studio with my fashion police and of course Leonie. Palisa, we have a lot of people to go through, right? Let's go through Billy Oakham. He's the one who said that he bought a suit from Edgar's.
I like the tie. I thought it was a beautiful, subtle heritage print. I liked
course,
it, and
yes.
I'm glad that it's South African.
Leonie, are you happy that he bought from a local store?
Yeah, it was simple, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone got the blue-tied reef, but yeah.
Let's discuss Minister Delil. Otis, what did you think?
Oh, yeah. I love the dress. I love the length. I feel like she could have accessorized it a bit different. The waistband could have been, there could have been something a bit more edgy, just to give it a bit of character.
Okay.
And I mean, she always wears her hair down. I would have appreciated to see something different.
Oh.
If maybe she could have pulled it up or styled it or just made a bit of an effort. Because I mean, the look that she had today is exactly what we see all the time when we see her in Parliament.
Yeah. And Silla, are you of the same opinion?
Yeah, I think they could have went with like a gold belt.
Oh.
And I know February Sense is good as well with
Yes.
hats. So I think if she gave her hats with the same print, that look up.
I thought it was age appropriate. I loved it, and I liked the styling with the glasses. I thought it was like the perfect woman finding the perfect coat. Is it a signature? Yes, but sometimes you know that's what it's about.
And out of 10?
I think it's a good 9. I thought it was a good fit.
Okay. Otsile?
I mean, I'll give it an 8.
Perfect.
Because I mean, it could have been elevated just a bit, you know, just a bit. But it was beautiful. Could have just been elevated just a bit.
Alrighty, Silla. All right, Leonie.
I like the story behind it, so yes, 8.
All right, perfect. Now let's move on to the Imbongi. Of course, it is a traditional wear. She's the one who will be praising the president as he enters the chambers. Leonie, what were your thoughts, especially with the awareness on the tradition and culture?
Loved it. Loved it. We need to move away from this narrative that when we wear our traditional outfits, it's only on Heritage Day.
Yes.
No, we need to be proud and we need to own our culture, our heritage, and tell our story. That nailed it. Loved it.
And this would go great in the books of journalism.
Absolutely.
Now let's go to Kenny Kunene. You had a lot of comments going on here while we were watching, of course. Palisa, what were your thoughts?
I don't want to go to Kenny Kunene. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, I think that he did what Kenny Kunene does.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's what you expected?
It's what I expected. Nothing, it wasn't the most responsible outfit, let me just say that, considering the message, considering, you know, the issues that we have. Yeah, I found it quite irresponsible.
All right, Otsile?
For me, I was a bit let down. I mean, as someone that's going to be in parliament that speaks to growing our economy, how are you growing our economy by taking money out of our economy and taking it to other markets that are outside of South Africa?
Yeah.
We're trying to localize everything. South Africa is capable. We're able to manufacture suits that are even more superior qualities than what he's wearing. For him to boldly come and say that he's wearing all of these other brands and not even mention a single South African brand, for me that was distasteful.
Did you expect it though?
I mean, we know that's what he'd do, but I'm saying we are here as proudly South African to come and raise awareness. How's about we work on our South African economy?
Yeah.
How can we do that? By buying local. Let's make sure that whatever that we do, we keep the money circulating well within our country instead of taking our money elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
he's
now,
part of government now.
He is part of government. He should do better.
The hardest actually. Like buy the most expensive suit from a local designer.
okay, so we're unhappy.
Yeah,
No, definitely
We're
unhappy.
unhappy. I think it is the misuse of the platform. You can wear your outfits. If you can afford it, go, flaunt it.
Yes.
But when you have a platform and an opportunity to raise awareness, you use it,
And then looking past the fact that he's not wearing local, how is the look? Out of 10, Otsile.
No comment.
Are we now commenting on the look?
Yeah.
I think this is one look that doesn't even deserve for me to rate at all.
I'm shutting
No
it
comment.
right there. Of course, you can see that we have a very strict fashion police here, guys. I've been trying. This is the third time. And the criteria is tough. The requirements are getting even tougher. And when we're unhappy, we are unhappy. Of course, we are still live outside the Cape Town City Hall, and we are awaiting the State of the Nation address, which the President is scheduled to deliver at 7 o'clock. And of course, you can join the conversation at #SONA 2025. We have partnered with Proudly South African, and of course, we are encouraging everybody to wear local. Of course, I am wearing manto by the beautiful, lovely Palesa.
That's how you do it.
And of course, all the other presenters that have been with me here today have been beautifully dressed by Otsile himself and Sillo. Of course, then you can get their information on Instagram and have your say as well. Judge everybody who's coming through to the SONA and tell us what you think of the outfits and what you think, how you think it's important to ensure that we support local. Tammy is ready for us. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's see what Tammy has for us on the red carpet.
I hear you guys discussing pageants and Miss World. They're big conversations. We've just obtained the license to actually host Miss World globally in South Africa. And we're standing next to our winner. If you could kindly introduce yourself.
Yes, of course. My name is Valise Janssen van Rensburg, and not only am I the reigning Miss World South Africa, I'm an aspiring law youth representative as well as a youth development advocate, and I'm incredibly honored and privileged to be here with you this evening.
Who are you wearing?
I'm wearing the one and only Casper Bosman, an incredibly talented South African designer, very synonymous not only within this industry but in various fields, very creative and truly innovative. I'm blessed to be wearing his stunning piece this evening.
How important is youth involvement in the fashion space and the influence that you have, the pageant space? How important is that?
I think it's very important because it brings a youthful perspective and a fresh perspective at that. So to have young people infiltrate these industries, whether it be fashion, whether it be politics, any field that you can imagine, having a young influence and young perspective truly has the ability to change the world and the narrative that we currently live by.
Absolutely lovely. You look absolutely stunning. If you could just turn around so they can have a look at your outfit. Your bag looks lovely. Detail.
Yes, of course, by the one and only Carol Bauer Bags, proudly South African and such a statement piece to any outfit.
You look absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Please go and advocate for women and for lots of young people to get into all those spaces. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the next pageant.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Speaking about young people, we are now joined by one of the young deputy ministers in the presidency, Ms. Nongqeba, who is not a new face. She's been here. The last time you were here, we were doing the first State of the Nation address, and then we did the opening of Parliament, and we spoke fashion.
Yes.
We're back.
Yes.
Talking proudly South African.
All the time, proudly SA. Today I'm wearing a Can the Deputy Minister of Higher Education please get out of our face? Anyway, this year I'm wearing a young black designer, Asanda Makibi. And of course the inspiration is modern African, beaded African petals and everything. Also keeping it with the colors of my party, black and gold. And yeah, very, I always find it so inspiring to work with young black designers. And of course to support their work, to showcase their work, and also just the love that they put into their craft. So exciting.
What can young people do to innovate? We'll be talking about a lot of things, sustainability, fashion contributing so much money in the GDP. How can we get more young people involved?
I'm so excited about the Project South African campaign, precisely because, firstly we need to have awareness. Yeah. The importance about preserving South African jobs. Yeah. The only way that we're going to preserve South African jobs within the industry is through buying local and wearing local. So that's the first thing. But secondly, this entire week I was visiting different sites that employ young people. And one of the important, as part of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, one of the important things that we are speaking to industry about is that we have to partner with industry as government and, seek these young people, train them, and after that, after we've trained them, also place them in sustainable jobs. And that's one of the things that we will be championing. And hopefully the President will give the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative a shout out in SONA tonight.
I hope that you are also leading that conversation, and I'm going to hold you accountable so that we're able to expand on this conversation about including a lot of young people and those programs with the NYDA, etc.
We are actually having a media launch next week after SONA. Once the President has announced it today, we're having a media launch next week where we're going to be unpacking the program, what it entails for young people. But in the meantime, I do want to encourage young people to go to soyouth.mobi, which is a zero-rated site to find all of government's opportunities for young people.
You look stunning. Let's look at your outfit. Turn around. Thank you. You look so snatched for somebody who just had a baby.
Thank you so much.
Turn around. Let's see. She looks absolutely stunning. Stunning. Okay, cool. Enjoy. Let's go. We're talking young people, and while we wait for the minister, we're going to take the Deputy Minister of Youth, Women and Persons Living with Disabilities, Steve Litsike, a friend of ours and a friend of Proudly South African. We're talking fashion. Wearing local?
Wearing local, indeed. No, thank you so much. There's a young man in Pretoria called Shola. Yeah. He does my local shirts. In fact, many of my shirts, I get it from him. We speak about design. We speak about, the kind of look and feel. So all shirts that you see are done locally here. And Pretoria, I support my hometown, my home city, and it's really about ensuring that young people in my own village and my own city, they can actually contribute to the economic growth.
How does the department have, or what plans do they have in getting more young people, persons with disabilities, participating in the space of contributing to the fashion world, right?
Look, there are incredible artists, everywhere who actually are seeing this not just as their craft and their brilliance. It's really about making sure that we open doors of opportunities. And we've done that in collaboration with Higher Health, higher education, with as well as small business development. And we really have been reaching out with different young people in expos, exposing their own craft. And we look forward because G20 will be hosted in the country, and we've spoken about it.
Yes.
And really we said financial inclusion of women, youth and persons with disability is bringing people on board on a practical level where their craft can be sold to the world.
I always believe in the fact that we can produce anything. If we unite as the continent, as South Africans, as our people, we've got enough to produce everything here on the ground. I look forward to hearing some of the things that are going to be said at the State of the Nation today and connecting with you.
Thank you so much. Cool. G20, this SONA statement is really about bringing everybody a nation that works for all.
We're going to be a nation that works for all. We're talking about Pretoria people, and oh my God, here's me and Roses. This was one of the... You won one of the greatest looks last year, and I think it was designed by BG, who was one of our local fashion police.
I'm wearing BG even.
Please kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Pinky Kekana, the Deputy Minister of the Department of Public Administration, and I'm here to display the capacity and talent of South Africa.
How important is it?
It is important because we, as South Africa, we're a brand, and there's talent, there's capacity, especially in this industry. So it is important for us to showcase one of our own, and BG has never disappointed me at all times.
Can we see your outfit? Look at the detail. Look
Yes.
at the detail. The roses there.
It's Sharon on the roses.
It's Sharon on the
on the roses.
You look absolutely stunning. I have 4 fashion police there that are going to be looking at your outfit, and they're going to give us like feedback on it. But you look absolutely nice. Good luck for tonight. I will see you at the after parties, and then we must make sure that government must hold people accountable, and then we must support local designers. Gorgeous. That's the Deputy Minister of DPSA, Ms. Pinky Kekana, looking absolutely stunning in another BG design. And we are now joined by the Minister of now it's Justice. You know, it's
Justice and Constitutional Development.
How's that playing a role in the fashion space?
Oh.
First of all, let's talk about who you're wearing.
This is done by a woman, black woman-owned shop, designer shop. She tailors, she does everything. Based in Pretoria in the CBD, Divine Touch. So you can see modernized touch of Xitsonga, my culture, so African, as part of us reaffirming that South Africa is within the African continent. So yeah, there it is.
How important is it supporting local?
Look, it's very important because we can't continue complaining about jobs. I mean, I look at her, what she's able to do, employing more people in there. I think she's got about 26 people, if I'm not mistaken, that she's employed, permanently working there. She's a black woman who's able to run a business. In terms of transformation for women participation in the economy, she's doing well, and we are there to support her, and that's why I put. Secondly, in terms of her contributing to job creation, it's there, but also being able to be proud about who we are. I'm a proud Xitsonga woman. So.
And can we look at your outfit? There's so much detail that's happening here. It's got a little bit of a tail, and then you can see the fabric that's here. That's Xitsonga. We're talking earlier to Minister Pemi, and we're talking about like fabrics, you know. And we're talking about why we don't produce our own local fabrics and why it's difficult to get those machines. We're talking T20. How are we going to make sure that we start having a big conversation that has got financial implications, and as the people who stand at the center right now of that influence with G20?
Look, the issue is around that the work is being done steadily in terms of ensuring that we can be able to protect. You know that during the master plans in terms of the industry, protecting the textile industry has been there in terms of support and being able to play local. So DTIC play a key role there in terms of making. But what these sectors can do, when government supports them, they want me and you to buy.
Right.
Because the market is important. So we should not order from abroad, come with, importantly, and we must not go and ask for discounts.
Yeah.
We must pay the price that they are giving us. Because koshopong, how you don't reka anything, then you pay the price. So what is sometimes difficult is when people, when they buy from a local supplier, they want to negotiate a discount. That's not right. Let's pay the prices that they are saying because they deserve it, and they are doing a lot of work. It's hard work to be able to put the beads. Labor intensive. So you must be able to agree in the prices.
This is why we were talking about like justice and correctional stuff. We're correcting the prices and making sure that people are paying, and we'll hold them accountable. Justice will be served like you served your outfit today. We're going to discuss that. And before, we're going to quickly get him joined by another great guest of ours in all black. Looking fabulous. That's our Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Mr. Gayton McKenzie. We've been trying to get a hold of him to come and, talk to us about like fashion. Look at them conversing. Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are
Good. Welcome to the Proudly South African and Parliament TV. We're talking.
the hairstyle,
It's the mix, right?
Trendsetter always, since I've known you. Set of note, man.
This is what I'm doing the interview here. You're looking gorgeous. Please, can you tell us who you're wearing?
I'm a very simple man.
Tell us who you're wearing.
I wear that's a suit. I just put up.
Okay, so
I just put up a suit. I don't know, is it Woolworths or is it Brioni?
Yeah.
I just know. I just took it.
Let's talk about sports, arts, and culture. We're talking about the creative sector. We're talking about fashion. How important is the department, and where do you guys stand? What plans are being put in place for us to ensure that we're able to support our creative industries and fashion?
Fashion is very important. I mean, you can see, I'm a fashionable guy. I understand fashion, and I think that South Africa is the fashion capital of the world. We must just now get government support behind all our designers. We must make sure that this year, that South African brands like Amakosa, Galks Boy, those are big brands. And then you look at Galks Boy. I mean, like, wherever you go, people are wearing it. You look at Matt Kossap, wherever you go, people are wearing it. And that's what I want to see this year. I want to see Tepo jeans. People must wear our local brands. Yes.
Do you have any other plans in place for us to be able to engage on that level of fashion? Earlier on, we were just talking about hosting the G20 summit.
Yes.
And all the multiple opportunities. And I think sports, arts and culture has the opportunity to kind of push that conversation across throughout all the months. What plans do we have to ensure that we're playing within the music, the influence, because there are so many intersections there?
No, definitely. I mean, we're launching one of the biggest, and I don't want to tell you the name because I suspect the president is going to talk about it, but you just listen to him. He's going to talk about what we are launching, but I can tell you now, this is the year for local designers, for the year of Amapiano, for the year of our local poets, the year of our local chefs.
Right.
We are going to make sure that they get the desired recognition and the deserved recognition.
Cool. And we're going to make sure that the next time you know who you're dressed by, and at least maybe ask the wife to give you notes, or are dressed by this one and dressed by this one. But you look absolutely lovely. We're going to have lots of conversations. And stay proudly South African.
Thank you. You look ravishing. Beautiful.
I try to represent you.
You are.
I try to represent the diversities of cultures in the country, and this is the whole thing. I mean, like, it's so impressive to be able to, see all of these expressions and how people have come up and shown up here on the red carpet. I'm seeing another beautiful outfit coming through, and I'm interested in talking about this beautiful outfit. Good afternoon. I'm good, thank you. You look gorgeous. If you could kindly introduce yourself to our audience.
No problem. I'm Vuyiswa Ramokhupa, MEC of Agriculture in Gauteng Province.
I love that. We're talking agriculture and we're talking fashion. The same world, right? Yes, because everything else, my teacher used to always say to me, there are two things you must remember, is that everything is either farmed or mined.
This is true.
We speak about carbon emissions that are there.
Yeah.
We speak about many opportunities that are there. Agriculture, the role that they're going to play in the space of fashion.
And sustainability, just as broadly, I mean, fast fashion has been one of the primary causes of the degradation, environmental degradation. So I think those two things very much go hand in hand. And agriculture in Gauteng in particular is a really exciting space because, I mean, that is really the epicenter of the economy. It is the cultural hub of South Africa. And it's also the pulse. It's the most populous province of them all. So, food security is obviously very high on the agenda, but also driving agripreneurs and agro-processors to really power up our economy.
I always say to people that we're missing out on so many opportunities, right? And I'm interested in some of the programs that you're going to develop and how you're going to allow fashion to play in that space. But I want to talk about your outfit. What is the inspiration?
Let me check for you.
This is a Senegalese designer, actually, whose name is Jaina A. And for me, it's really about just an ode to the continent, celebrating African fashion. This is a designer who is influenced by both South Africa and Senegal. I've also spent some years in Senegal, and it's a place I also call home. So I thought, what better way to represent my love of the continent?
Can we look at the outfit? Can you turn around?
Sure.
She's looking absolutely gorgeous. We did speak about making sure that we are talking about agriculture and in the agriculture space. And you see, guys, fashion is so broad. Our people in the studio, I want you guys to have a look at this outfit again and then be able to give us some feedback. Please, if you guys are also out here, enjoy tonight. If you guys are out here at the SONA, please keep posting and also tag us at Proudly South Africa, and also ensure that you hashtag SONA 2025 and talk about wearing local, wear local in South Africa.
Love your
You're looking great. Am I looking great?
You're looking great.
I'm gonna go from the left. Yeah? Quick introduction.
Hello, I'm Ashley Stenhazen. I'm John's daughter. Nice to meet you.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my friend Leah's dress, and I'm wearing a Cape Cobra bag.
Is it locally produced?
Locally produced, Python skin, locally produced.
Love it.
I'm Terry Stenhazen. I'm very proud to be representing the Minister of Agriculture with ostrich skin bag. My shoes are from an amazing non-profit called Vintage with Love, and my dress is also proudly South African and South African green.
I love it. We're talking agriculture, Minister, and we were just talking now earlier on about the importance of agriculture in the fashion space.
Absolutely. I mean, we produce a lot of the raw ingredients for textiles. We do a lot of the stuff for the fashion space. You can see we're promoting the ostrich sector here. South Africa has got a big ostrich industry. We provided feathers for Lady Gaga's performance at the Olympic Games. We've now got ostrich leather. I was able to give the Chinese ambassador some ostrich steak the other evening at my house. So we're able to ensure that we're promoting South African agricultural goods, and that's also why we're wearing green. It's the colour of agriculture.
I love it. G20,
yes.
The involvement, fashion, let's talk.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think we should have an F20 here, Fashion 20 as well. See, we've got a P20, and I think we should be challenging those in their countries to move towards more local content, but also more sustainability around reusing and recycling, and the importance of that in terms of the bioeconomy in the world. And I think that's a very good message to send out.
I agree. I don't think we talk enough about the fact that also, fashion consumes literally, we're the second biggest consumers of water, right? And also we've been talking a lot about recycling and sustainability. I think that I am going to hold you to task, and I'm going to challenge you and our team to be able to come and have a conversation with you about wearing local, number one.
Wearing local.
Wearing local. Very much about sustainability. I work with non-profits that work about sustainability. And thrifting. I'm a big thrifter. We are big thrifters.
I think we're running a whole business here. We're running a whole business. I've always been in the agriculture space. I'm joining the family business, and we're going to be working with women and non-profit organizations to ensure that we solve the issues around unemployment in the country and allow us to let fashion rule
the way.
As it must. Cool. Enjoy tonight. You guys look absolutely stunning. Thank you so much. Hello! Hi! I have to take both of you. You guys look absolutely stunning. I'm going to start there. Quick introduction here. Tell me about your outfit, who made it, and the inspiration.
So the dress is from Frida Couture. It's a South African brand. And the shirt I bought from my shop.
How important is it wearing local?
It's very important. We need to support local artists, because that's where they will get the most, people will see them so that they can go abroad. That's essentially what we want, other people to see their work.
Absolutely stunning.
I am wearing Yamgela Isintu, a local designer, young, brilliant woman who took me back home. I am Xhosa, and she decided to make me this amazing garments. And as she said, supporting local is absolutely critical. Also, there's so much talent in our country, and we don't have to lower our standards just to support local. Just simply going to a local designer, they can make you something stunning.
Education and fashion?
Education and fashion, well, one of the things that we're doing in the sector is to make sure that we are diversifying the curriculum. So we're not boxing children to just being saying that, oh, well, you know, this is what you need to do. We want the curriculum to also be inspiring to kids who may be skills orientated, who may want to go into fashion designing, who may want to acquire skills like a beauty industry. And so that's one of the things that we're doing in our schools of skills. And I think it's going to be good because not every learner is the same.
Yeah, and I think you guys have got a beautiful opportunity as education to be able to kind of push those conversations. We're talking about like a huge increase of matriculants, even if it's not just at basic education, just across. As a young person, as a young leader in the education space, what can we do to, you know, kind of bridge the gap between higher education, basic education, TVET colleges, and skills development?
Look, I mean, I think you've really hit it the nail on the head, because there has to be synergy. If we're going to make sure that young people are getting into work, which is ultimately the goal, then we need to make sure that basic education is speaking to higher education, that there are clear pathways to TVET colleges, but also that we are partnering with industry to make sure that industries are ready to receive our learners. So there are great opportunities here. We just need to harness them, and not everything requires money. Sometimes it just requires willpower, the political will to do it, and also creativity.
I am going to hold you accountable. And I'm going to expect a program out of your departments, and I'm going to ensure that you do that collaboration. Remember, we are now GNUE, and then we are now collaborative. Today we spoke about like the diversity in culture. So I'm going to hold you accountable, and we're going to do programs around education and fashion.
Absolutely.
You guys look absolutely stunning.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
tonight.
Thank you so much.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Tag them, yeah?
Definitely.
That beautiful skirt, tag them with collaborations, basic education, higher education, TVET colleges. People looking absolutely stunning. Can I just throw back to the studio quickly so you guys can discuss a couple of these looks, and then I'll probably, if I can, sneak in one more interview before I say goodbye.
Tami Make doing the most there on the red carpet, and we have our work cut out, right? A lot of homework, a lot of people that were on the red carpet. Let's talk about that black dress, the black and gold
With
dress.
the flower?
Yes,
the
the black
black
with
and
the
gold?
beads. And
Okay,
it was so I like the bust.
Just under accessorized, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
No earrings, no neck piece, beautiful dress, beautiful fit.
Out of 10?
An 8. It was a beautiful dress. It was just the little earrings and accessories that were needed. I thought it was beautiful.
No, I think the dress spoke for itself.
Okay.
Especially since the beads were detailing, were creating the detailing. I don't think she necessarily needed accessories because the beadwork was speaking.
Okay.
I think she forgot them in the
loud,
car.
you know.
I mean, I fully agree with you. The dress was stunning. I like the details and that it was sophisticated and just clean. And
Out of 10?
we'll still give it a 7.
Okay. So
9.
Leonie, out of 10? 8. Oh, okay. Now let's talk about the Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability. That is Steve Itzike. She was talking about the shirts that they always make locally for them. What did you think?
I mean, it's very nice to see that there's people that are in high power that actually take
Initiative.
the industry,
Yes.
they take it seriously and they make an effort to be, growing the designers and supporting the designers. I mean, these are the same designers that are creating jobs.
Yes.
And if they're not going to buy from us as designers, how are we going to create jobs?
And out of 10, Stella, how much would you give them?
No, I'll give him a 10. Mainly because of what he said, the support and he buys a lot of shares from the designer.
Righty. Let's talk more about the black dress with the white roses. Right. Leonie, what were your thoughts?
I thought the roses the flowering was a bit overpowering. I actually didn't quite like it. But I loved that it was local. Loved his work. Not convinced with this one though.
And out of 10?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's not make sure. Let's
It's not make sure.
Okay. Palisa?
I thought it was a lovely dress for an award ceremony, not necessarily for this occasion, but a beautiful dress, a beautiful lady, and I love the message. I can't remember what she was saying. It was a couple of people ago, but 10 out of 10 for an award ceremony. For this one, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And then the Tonga-inspired attire.
The Tonga-inspired attire.
Yes. What did you think?
I thought I enjoyed the effort.
Perfect.
Really enjoyed that. Gele gets a 10 out of 10. The rest I will let my designers do.
What were your thoughts?
I like the play of the different fabrics.
Okay.
I mean, there was a play of about 4 different fabrics. There was the Tonga fabric, it was the lace. I mean, there was a lining there, and I like the fact that the person that made the dress also understands the bust. Because the lady's got a bit of a bigger bust, and I like the fact that they made the right cup size. You see a whole lot of dresses, like the black and white that you're talking about.
Yes.
It wasn't sitting right on the bust. It was almost like it's falling off on the shoulders. The flowers at the bottom were a bit of a mixed match. So for me, I would go for the blue dress more than the black and white dress.
All right. And out of 10?
I think I'll give it a 10.
Oh.
Is that a 10?
Wow.
I've got my reasons.
You can see some of the perceptions there. Wow. And guests are still arriving. Let's talk about Minister Gayton McKenzie. Sinla, what were your thoughts?
I couldn't really hear him, but I think the outfit was cute.
Okay.
But as Valisa said, I think you could have pushed more to accessorize it, give it like an African bead, something.
Standing there,
like a
handing over,
brooch.
like a little beaded, just a touch of Africa.
Okay. And out of 10, Atile?
I mean, I think I'll give him 10 out of 10 for what he said.
Okay.
I like the fact that again he's pro South Africa.
Okay.
Can we work on improving our economy? Let's grow our economy. For me, I can never stop stressing that enough. If we buy local, and I'm gonna keep on reiterating the same thing. Buy local, let's grow our economy.
All right. And overall, let's talk about the outfits that we have seen. All right.
I think for me it's not really about the outfits. I think it's about the overall attempt. It seems like 99% of the people on the carpet were wearing local. Was it good? Was it bad? It really depends. So I think the overall carpet gets a 10 out of 10. People really tried. We heard a lot of South African punches. So the support is out there. It just needs to spread.
And Leonie, you're of the same opinion?
Yes, similar. Fashion is so subjective, right? But for me, Pretoria won. There was a lot of Tshwane, a lot of Amapiano, a lot of... and then I'm wondering if everyone got the "we are wearing blue" memo.
Okay. Now you can see guests are still entering there. Of course, overall, do we then say that they've done it justice? Did members and guests are you wearing local justice?
I feel like with the initiative that Proudly South Africa has been pushing for quite some time, this year there's more people wearing local design.
Yes, definitely. So the message is
good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they're getting scolded all the time to say, guys, let's support local, let's do local. And it's beautiful to see that more and more people came out wearing South African brands.
I'm told that Tammy has one more person for us. Hold still. Let's go back to Tammy on the red carpet.
Sure.
I mean, it's funny how 2 hours just goes by so quickly with just observing these beautiful garments. I'm standing next to a very lovely woman. I would call her one of the ambassadors of wearing local. It's the DSG of the African National Congress. And no, she's not a stranger. Mom, Nomvula.
Thank you very much. I'm here affirming again my commitment to being a patriotic South African. My hair, my facial, done by 2 young women from Khayelitsha. The suit that I'm wearing is a statement because ordinarily it's supposed to be a pinstripe suit with a jacket and a pair of pants, but I've gone feminine.
I'm looking at it.
And the reason is a pinstripe suit is said to be representing authority, decisiveness, and leadership. I'm a leader.
How important is supporting local?
It's quite
and creating jobs.
It's quite important because the 2 young women, particularly working also with Entle, have been able now to to get something that they had earned out of this effort. Secondly, we are growing the economy because part of what they must now do is to continue beyond doing for Nomvula. Because once people see Nomvula being dressed by them, other people will also make an attempt of reaching out to them. This is but part of promotion of the capacity of South Africa. We're quite an amazing nation. Who thought you can have a pinstripe suit in this particular fashion?
We've been talking the whole day about G20 and so many different programs. We're at the center of it. How are we going to increase the conversation around fashion and the multiple opportunities?
We must revitalize our textile industry because it collapsed because of foreign goods. We need to, in that industrial policy and the prioritization of industry, of industrialization and manufacturing. This is one of the very important ones. Remember also the beautiful thing about fashion is that you do what you like and you wear it in the manner that you want it, and therefore everybody has to apply his or her mind, and everybody has to give him or herself time, and thereafter you all celebrate.
I love the fact that you supported South African produced outfits and South African designers. You look absolutely stunning. Can you turn around for me one more time? She spoke about us revitalizing the economy and revitalizing the clothing and textile industry. I'm looking forward to some of the programs that you guys are going to develop, especially also with women, because I know you're passionate on women issues. You're passionate with inclusion as well, the LGBTQI community.
Yes. I'm looking forward to the statement that is going to be presented by the President. And for us, whether SONA or no SONA, we must remain committed to being patriotic and raise the flag by supporting everyone, because South Africa belongs to all those who live in it.
You look absolutely stunning. You rock this outfit.
Thank you.
Do you think I can have it when you're done with it today?
Anytime soon.
We'll exchange. I'll give you my spelani.
The problem is the color.
The problem is the color. I mean, we're talking color. We're talking color. Your colors.
But I don't come okay with an orange color. I'm a pink and a yellow girl.
She's a pink and a yellow girl. I know you guys in the studio are talking about trends and everything else that is all colors. Mam Nomvula looks absolutely. I can pick up. Yes. This is the accreditation. Not that she needs one, but yes. She's looking absolutely stunning. Thank you for joining us on the carpet. And please continue to push the message of buying local and supporting local at SONA. Stick to it. We're going to discuss your look now. They're in studios. Guys, you heard her. She says we must speak. Can you believe that we've seen so many beautiful garments here at literally at the State of the Nation Address 2025, and we're about to end our live crossing here at the Parliament. And before we end our live, we just wanted to grab the portfolio chair person of communications, Ms. Kusela Diko, to talk to us about the importance of communicating fashion. We're at Parliament. Third installation.
Yes, and you're looking absolutely fabulous as always.
You're looking fabulous. Who are you dressed by?
I'm dressed by Inami Vuyangona. The State of the Nation is very, very important, but I think more than anything, just in terms of the economic buzz that it brings, local designers are out here doing amazing things, and we have to help them and support them, not only during the State of the Nation, but generally. It's an everyday thing, looking hot, eh?
How are you going to ensure that in your world of communication and all these platforms that we have, we are able to spread that message, number one? How are we going to influence that big message also as part of the plans that we have for our G20 with some of the friends that we have within the summit? What role can comms really play?
It can play a lot, hey? I mean, at the end of the day, when you talk about communications, you're really talking at the center, the heartbeat of everything. So as we roll out G20, Government Communication Information Systems, which is one of the departments that I oversee, they're going to have to ensure that the message of South Africa is not just, towers, infrastructure, but it is our fashion, our tourism, the things that make us uniquely South African. So we'll be pushing that a lot. We want everybody to participate in this G20. You go anywhere in the world, you will see a person from South Africa, a person from Africa, really by, our fashion, and those are exports that we're really proud of.
We're talking detail of your outfit. Can we turn around and look at it? What inspired it?
you know that at heart I am a girl, a princess from the Eastern Cape, Mthembukazi proudly, Ndlunkulu kwaBhaca. So obviously my dress has got elements of umbhaco, but I wanted to jazz it up a little bit, you know, so bringing together that African umbhaco, giving a nod to it, but then the glam, because after all it is the SONA.
Oh, no?
You do want to try.
Okay.
And then we went to really try and find a waist, right? And tried
looking snatched.
No, but thank you so much, Tabby. And
thank you guys for your commitment to literally communicating the importance of us buying local. It's really great and incredible to see the diversity that we were able to present and to showcase here on the carpet. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to hearing what's going to be said tonight. You look gorgeous, but I'm also looking forward to hearing what the people in studio are going to be saying about your outfit.
Thank you, darling.
Go enjoy it. That was the portfolio chair of communications in Parliament, Ms. Kusela Diko. We have had literally an amazing time. Guys, I can't talk to you guys. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to be able to just like buy local, to support local all the time. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about their commitments to how they're going to use innovation, and for us to be able to push the message of supporting our local people. Guys, it's been an incredible one. I've enjoyed this one. We did it again. We'll keep doing it. And we're going to be like policing you. We're going to be holding you accountable. We're going to be checking if you're wearing local. If I didn't get to speak to you, please continue to take pictures, post them, and hashtag SONA 2025. And also wear local at SONA. Hashtag wear local at SONA. Tag us at Proudly South Africa and ensure that you plug all your designers who are there. This has been an incredible edition of Proudly South African SONA presentation. I'm going back to the studio to our local fashion police experts, and I'm out. It's been great.
The fabulous Tammy on the red carpet here at hashtag SONA 2025. Just two looks, very briefly because we have to wrap it up. Palisa, Ms. Nombula Makunyan.
I thought the look was progressive. I thought her message was progressive. I thought she was trendy. I thought it fit well. There's a woman who's a leader in style and in grace, in style and grace.
Silla?
Good take on masculinity meets femininity.
Okay.
I like the tie. I like the quality of the shirt, the fabric.
Yes.
Yeah, she looks stunning.
Yeah. A rating out of 10, Ntile?
I'll give it a 10.
Yeah, she's a 10.
She made an effort, and I like the fact that they also balanced fit versus volume. How they've got godets at the bottom, they've got a bit of volume at the bottom, and everything else is well shaped. I like the contrast of the matte against the shine.
Yes. It's not overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming, it's just the right amount of shine and the right amount of matte.
Matte, yeah.
Sophisticated, it's beautiful. Oh, another thing, the tie.
Yes.
How the tie was cut with a bit of beading.
And of course, let's take a look. And right there, that is the former president, Kgalema Motlanthe, and his spouse arriving. And these are some of the VIPs that have been invited to attend the State of the Nation address. Of course, this is the first of the 7th administration, and especially under the GNU. And of course, we're looking forward to what the president is about to deliver in terms of his strategy for the year ahead. Of course, some of you have been following us and engaging in the conversation, telling us what your expectations are in terms of the SONA for tonight. The last look that we're going to look at, Ms. Kusela Diko. Leonie. Sorry, Ms. Kusela Diko. She was the one who the last person that Tammy had on the red carpet.
No one mattered after Nombula Mokunyane.
Oh.
That was the look of SONA. It was sublime. It was gorgeous. It was effortless.
So if there were awards here, you think she'd take it?
Absolutely, hands down.
She's our winner.
Easily.
Yeah, hands
I
down.
hope DSG is watching.
I cannot test anyone before or after that.
Is
It's
that?
Nombula.
Otsile, do you agree?
She's a winner for today.
Oh, is that?
She gets a 12 out of 10.
Okay, Palisa, you agree?
100%. You can see she had a lot to do with how it turned out.
So, final comment, DSG, Ms. Nombula Mokunyane,
Hands down.
She's a winner today.
She's the winner today.
I didn't know we were looking for a winner, but if we
4
were,
plus 4, she ate.
let's wrap it up. DSG, I hope you are watching here. And our local fashion police say that you are the winner for the hashtag SONA 2025. I guess we call it best dress for hashtag SONA 2025. Of course, you're still tuned into Parliament TV right here on channel 408 on DSTV. Of course, you can talk to us on all social media platforms by following, subscribing, and liking at Parliament of RSA. Tell us what your expectations are. We are anticipating the State of the Nation address that President Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver tonight at 7 p.m. We are just almost 2 hours away. The VIPs are arriving and processions are about to take place. Of course, this includes the famous 21-gun salute to the President. You're still watching Parliament TV. This is my local fashion police. We have Palisa Mukubu, we have Silla from Scala, we have Otsile, and we have Leonie. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is it from us. Cheers.
There's the hogger of the there's the hogger of the mic. Ooh la la!
Watches our talent in fascination, a place where Nobel Prize winners have inspired a new generation of winners who are leaving their mark on global stages. We invite you to a place that celebrates diversity, culture, and heritage. The only country in the world that is as colorful as the rainbow, where humanity is expressed through our blend of 11 official languages. Headquarters to top South African and international investment banks, financial and legal consultants. Come set foot in the richest square mile in Africa and host your business events at one of the largest convention centers on the continent. Growth is everywhere. South Africa is rich in mineral resources and manufacturing expertise. We embrace global innovation and technological trends. With an array of world-class infrastructure, everyone is invited to do business. Visit, explore, and live in our beautiful country. We're one of the world's preferred travel destinations. A real country where all dreams are valid and realized, where we always come together and build with them.
More than 60 million different voices echoing in harmony from the southernmost part of the continent, where ordinary people have carved their names in an extraordinary history by showing the world that peace is always better than war. Our reach is not limited by our borders, bringing joy in people's hearts and a spark of rhythm to their moves. This is the welcome home of opportunity, inspiring millions to look here in search of a better life, and sharing our best with the world. We are home to undulating mountains, flowers, endless seas, the beautiful animal kingdom, and the ever-changing seasons that color our world. We are the birthplace of humanity and a showcase of human excellence. We believe in South Africa. We are inspired by our victories of the past and our strong institutions to overcome the challenges of today and build a better tomorrow. This is who we are, South African. South Africa, inspiring new ways.
This is a message by Brand South Africa.
Having arrived. Of course, we saw the former president, Kgalema Motlanthe, arriving with his spouse there. So these are some of the things that happened during SONA that esteemed guests are asked to come by. Of course, another reason why we have the SONA is to hear what the president has to strategize in terms of the implementation of his plans and goals for the year ahead. Of course, there is the Navy Band, and of course, there are processions as we watch and build to the hashtag SONA 2025. It has been a busy day today. There is a guard of honor of all the students, the learners that have come, and they have formed a guard of honor. This is a tradition that has always been with the SONA throughout the years. Of course, these are pictures that are beautiful with all those uniforms from the different parts of, yes. Of course, now there's music outside, people are entertained, people are assembling outside, and this is the fun part of SONA. We're still awaiting the president to deliver the hashtag SONA 2025, and that is the State of the Nation address, the first under the Government of National Unity and the first for the 7th administration. You're reminded that we had the opening of Parliament address on the 18th of July 2024, and this coincided with International Nelson Mandela Day just last year. Of course, the biggest difference between the two, between OPA and SONA, is that the opening of Parliament address happens only once every 5 years after the establishment of a government. Of course, this happened right after we had all gone to the polls and voted on the 29th of May 2024. Of course, now this is SONA. And the difference here is that this happens annually, right? So this is where the president outlines his strategies, obviously flags some challenges throughout the year, and ensures that government will implement those strategies and goals. Of course, we're talking about his cabinet, the very cabinet that is held accountable by the National Assembly and by the NCOP members. This is done through the portfolio committees and the committees in the NCOP. You are still watching Parliament TV right here on channel 408, and of course on all social media platforms at Parliament of RSA. Now that is the Junior Guard of Honor, and you can give us your expectations online and tell us what you think the president should focus on in terms of his State of the Nation address. Is it crime? Is it unemployment? We do have a lot of issues that have been voiced out throughout the day in our channel with different people from all over the country that have been sharing what they feel should be on that address this afternoon, this evening. Of course, it's scheduled for 7 p.m. We're still waiting the president, and of course he makes a big entrance, and you will know when he is here. Of course, the speech will happen in about T-minus 45 minutes, and we will be enlightened by the president's strategy in terms of moving the country forward this year. Of course, there have been big events that have been happening. We have the Bella Act that was enacted. We have the NHI Act that also that has been enacted. So there have been big movements within the government over 2024 and over 2025 as we await what 2025 has in store for us, in store for us, especially in terms of service delivery, especially in terms of what you need at home.
Yes, Tabo, as you can see on the screen, we are preparing for the big moment, which is now 45 minutes away, and there's the military band starting making its way through as we are preparing for the president to deliver the State of the Nation address at 7. Those are the members of the South African National Defence Force from various units of the force that participate in the State of the Nation address. It is a tradition that the Army fully participates in the traditions of the State of the Nation address.
And of course, this is after the fallen heroes of the SADC-BP, of course, in the DRC. However, we did have an interview earlier, and the speaker did say that this is basically paying homage to the Commander-in-Chief. And of course, there have been outcries with regards to that, and the thought was that it shouldn't be done at all. However, it has been explained, and that the department is that this is paying homage to the Commander-in-Chief, and that is President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Exactly as you've just explained it, Seppo, the speaker also outlined this morning when I spoke to her. She also indicated that she had received a request from the Democratic Alliance for the number of soldiers, for the reduction of the number of the members of the SANDF that will be used during the State of the Nation address. However, as you had rightfully explained, the purpose of today for the South African National Defence Force is to salute their chief in commander, which is the President of the Republic of South Africa, and that does not have an impact on what had transpired in the DRC, as you had said.
As you can see there on the screen, the premiers of the provinces are walking into the City Hall, where we are expected to listen to the President address the nation this evening at 7 p.m. And yesterday, Parliament posted a question on its Twitter page where the question was, if you were to deliver the State of the Nation address, what are the things that you will address? And as we went through the tweets, some of the things that really came out are high employment rate, unemployment of doctors and medical professionals, and job creation, and youth unemployment and drug addiction. So we'll await in anticipation as well to hear what the President has to tell us this evening at 7 p.m.
Of course, these are the processions for the State of the Nation address. A beautiful sight, a lot of synchronization there, and it is such a sight to see. Of course, this happens only once a year, unlike the opening of Parliament address that happens every 5 years.
And to those who've just joined us, this is still the build-up to the State of the Nation address, which will be delivered by President at 7 o'clock. You can follow us through our social media platforms at Parliament of RSA and hashtag SONA 2025. And just to read some of the tweets that have come through, this one comes from Sol at Tabiso 0-012. He says, we move on and live our lives like today. We focus on what the President will be telling South Africa at SONA. And this one comes from Teliwela Magagula, where she says, the way ESCOM has no regard for the President, we have load reduction from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., no SONA 2025 for Eguruleni.
Wow.
So those are some of the tweets that have come through on our hashtag SONA 2025.
But of course, these are some of the issues that the President has highlighted in his previous State of the Nation addresses. And hopefully then these are some of the issues that he will touch on. Of course, those are the military processions that are taking place on your screen. A beautiful sight, a lot of synchronization, and an event that happens once a year.
And there, just on your screen, you can see those shots. The President is also expected to take the salute right there in front of the City Hall by the Mandela statue there. And also there will be the singing of the national anthem, also by the South African National Defence Force Band. as they honor their Commander-in-Chief, which is the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa.
A beautiful sight indeed, right outside the City Hall in Cape Town. We started off as windy, however, things have settled down. A perfect weather for a perfect event.
And as you can see, the high level of discipline being maintained by those members of the South African National Defence Force. Le nto le ibonakalisa ukuthi le sidibene ngayo namhlanje ubaluleka kwayo kuba yabona ukuthi kula madrone siwabonayo phaa eskrinini sethu amileyo alayinileyo aphana kumaintainwe the highest level of discipline because abalungiselela ukuthi bazosalutha the chief in command of the SANDF.
And also not forgetting the public participation element of it, that the junior guards, as you saw them there earlier on in the shot, just right next to where the members of the SANDF are standing, where they get an opportunity to come and witness such an august event. And it is a tradition that started in 1994 after our democracy was born, and it has remained a crucial element of the State of the Nation address.
And members of the judiciary are making their way into the chamber. Of course, SONA is one of the occasions where all three arms of state come under one roof, and that is the legislature, the provincial, and the executive rather, and the judiciary. Of course, those are the justices of the Constitutional Court and the judge presidents of the High Court.
And indeed, they are led by none other than our Chief Justice, Ms. Mandi Samaya, who succeeded Mr. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, so leading the team of the judiciary there, and behind it, the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal and members of the Judge President and other members of the Constitutional Court.
And Judge Maya happens to be the first female Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa.
And of course, she has been pushing women empowerment, especially within the judicial sector, ensuring that women are empowered and that there is equality within that sector.
As you can see, that the State Guard getting ready, lined up and ready to give the salute as soon as their chief in commander makes his way down. But we're still expecting some other dignitaries to make their way into the Cape Town City Hall.
And of course, you can let us know what your expectations are from the State of the Nation address that President Cyril Ramaphosa is scheduled to deliver at 7 p.m. tonight. Use the hashtag SONA 2024 and follow, like and subscribe on all social media platforms at Parliament of RSA. For more information, of course, on the work of Parliament and the work of the committees that are involved, you can visit our website at www.parliament.gov.za. It is indeed your Parliament, your voice, your future.
And as we had indicated, set with the hashtag of SONA 2025, I have another tweet here from Tliso Mputi. It says, we urge President Ramaphosa to prioritize eradicating teenage pregnancy, drug and gambling addiction and poverty. Let's work towards a society where hope, faith and opportunity flourish for all. That's a very good tweet, Tliso. Giving us his or her expectations from the President address tonight, urging the President to focus on eradicating teenage pregnancy. I think the tweet is motivated with the recent reports on teenage pregnancy where one of the young children, I would say a child,
yes, children.
She was not in the teen yet because she was 12 years old. That gave birth on the New Year's Day. So I think this tweet is probably motivated by one of those incidents.
And of course, you are watching the processions right in front of the City Hall in Cape Town. We are awaiting the State of the Nation address. And that is the famous statue of the late President Nelson Mandela.
And the statue, Tsepo, is there because 11 of February 1990, this is exactly where Madiba stood and addressed South Africans following his release from serving a 27-year term in prison. And he was standing there, and next to him was the president, the current president, Mr. Ramaphosa, who was holding a microphone as Mr. Nelson Mandela was addressing the nation on the day following his release, as I have said. So having this event here also in the city, all apart from the building having been gutted by fire, but having this event here also has its own significance in the history of our democracy.
A full circle moment for President Cyril Ramaphosa, having held that mic, as you mentioned, Tevinkosi, for the late President Nelson Mandela. I'm sure he's proud wherever he is. Of course, he's coming. The State of the Nation address has to be delivered at 7 p.m.
We are exactly 38 minutes away from that State of the Nation address delivered at 7 o'clock by the President. And once the President has delivered the State of the Nation address today, then the debates on the President's address, two-day debates, which will take place on Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and which will then be followed by the President providing responses to the issues that would have been raised by the members during those debates.
Of course, you can still join the conversation by using the hashtag SONA 2025 and let us know what your expectations are from the first State of the Nation address here in Parliament. It's the 7th administration, the first SONA, of course. And of course, we await the President to share his strategies, to share his key goals, flag those challenges, and share how his government will implement all that needs to be implemented to ensure that you at home get the service delivery that you deserve.
And also, as you may know, that Parliament has been hosting the State of the Nation address at the City Hall since 2022 after a fire that destroyed building of the National Assembly building and part of the old Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. And we've been here since 2022. And as you might know as South Africans, that Parliament is currently under construction. The new Parliament, your Parliament. And you can also participate in how you'd like a Parliament to look by going to our website and sending through a WhatsApp message and the comments and how you would like your Parliament to look like. You are still live on Parliament, watching us from Parliament TV, channel 408, and we're coming also through all our social media platforms at Parliament of RSA. Follow us live there as we are waiting to hear the President deliver the State of the Nation address.
And of course, we can highlight that this is the 7th Parliament since the democratic dispensation of South Africa. We're just a little over 30 years of democracy, and each of those parliaments had different priorities. Of course, the first one was ensuring that the policies of apartheid were made rid of. And after that, it was all about nation building and ensuring that equity and human dignity is throughout the country.
And as Marcelo had said, you can also participate in the making your contributions on the rebuilding of Parliament. That information will be available on our parliamentary website, www.parliament.gov.za. You can log in there, follow the prompts, and then you can make your contributions on how best Parliament can make your contributions in terms of assisting Parliament to rebuild its destroyed structures.
Now, some of the VIP that have arrived is the former chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. A.N. Masondo, and Mrs. Osondo. And we have the former Deputy President, or former Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Baleka Mbete, and Mr. Khomo. And of course, they were welcomed by Mr. Cedric Frolic, whom we had a conversation with here earlier on Parliament TV. The former President of RSA, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, and a guest arrived earlier, of course, and the former president of RSA, Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe, arrived earlier. So these are some of the guests, including the former president, Mr. Zuma, who arrived to the State of the Nation address. Of course, we saw those processions as members of guests and esteemed members arrived. So the idea is that everybody should arrive before the president does. And the president later on will be welcomed by the Imbongi, who will be singing praises just before the president takes the stage.
Another public participation element there that has remained a very important part of the State of the Nation address since the dawn of our democracy, and Parliament rotates the languages that get to where Imbongi gets to speak. So last year we used a different language, and this year it will be a Xhosa Imbongi, a 19-year-old female who will be ushering the president inside the chamber.
And I had an opportunity to speak to her earlier. Inako Mateza is the name. She hails from Aidutjwa in the Eastern Cape. She is 19 years old, and she will be the one that will usher the president as he makes his way into the assembly to deliver the State of the Nation address. We're looking forward to hear to her. When I spoke to her, she's a very confident young lady who's also informed us that at 19 years old, she already has a foundation that seeks to help other children from her community to also just to try and get them out of the streets.
And of course, that is the band right outside of the Cape Town City Hall. Take a listen.
And that was the performance by the Army Band, a great music item there that they just performed. And of course, yesterday I had a chance to speak to the choir conductor, Major Sipon Lovu, who informed me that there's a lot of work that happens in preparation for today's event. And as we had earlier, Tsepo, were talking about the level of discipline displayed there, and he also spoke on that, if you see members of that choir when they are performing, from the performance you can see that the level of discipline that is there within the SANDF. So that was the choir is conducted by Major Sipondo.
And it has been a lovely day today with the band playing almost all day and keeping people entertained throughout the day. And of course this is part of the processions, and we are awaiting the President's State of the Nation address.
And the Cape Town weather also showing off there. Earlier on we almost got blown away by the wind, but it decided to subside at this moment so that we can all enjoy this moment before we are blown away by the wind. And as Tsepo said, we are waiting the President to arrive at any moment now, and to take the salute in front of the City Hall, and also where we'll stand there as well when the national anthem, I almost said National Assembly there, is being sung. And yeah, at any moment now, the big moment of the arrival of the President.
It's likely that you would say the National Assembly, because we serve the National Assembly. It's one of the two houses of Parliament that we serve. We still expect to see the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Lothrit, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Gavenda, as well as Mr. Paso, coming, making their way in, and conducted by Protocol Liaison Officer, Mr. Mandela.
And of course, this is a joint sitting, and that is why we have members of the National Assembly and members of the National Council of Provinces under one roof. And of course, the President has called the sitting, having liaised with the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Toko Didiza, and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Refile Mtsweni-Tsipane, for this spacious event to happen.
And it's safe to say that today we'll be hearing the first address by the President of the 7th Parliament and of the Government of National Unity, wherein he will be outlining government's priorities for the year ahead. We're sitting and waiting to hear what the President will say to the nation and later this evening.
And earlier on as well, when we're talking about the difference between the opening of Parliament and the State of the Nation address, because people might be wondering, we were here in July last year, but we keep on saying that this is the first State of the Nation address. It's because on the 18th of July 2024, when we were here, it was for the opening of Parliament, following the national and provincial elections that we had in May. That is when the President now addresses the nation on the long-term goals for the next 5 years of the term of Parliament. Today he's going to set goals, short-term goals for this year, and then again next year until the end of the term he will be giving the State of the Nation address, and this is the first State of the Nation address of the 7th Parliament.
And I think it's safe to say, and also to inform our viewers at home, that that would be the only agenda for today's proceedings.
Yes.
I think that previously Speaker has had to clarify that.
With the joint rules.
Yes, the joint rule, that today we only have that addressed by the President as the only agenda item. As I had said, as you can see there in your screen, that's the presiding officers, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Lothrit, and Mr. L. Gavenda, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, with Mr. Masi.
And of course, SONA 2025 will be held under the theme Harnessing Parliamentary Diplomacy for the Realization of Global Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability. Now, this theme encapsulates the transformational potential of parliamentary efforts in promoting inclusive, sustainable and collaborative approaches to global challenges, thereby advancing shared prosperity. Of course, it is conceptualized to align with South Africa's rotational hosting of the G20 in 2025. and Parliament's hosting of the Speakers Summit, P20 of the G20 National Parliaments. Now, these P20 summits play a crucial role in injecting a parliamentary perspective into global governance, raising awareness, building political support for international commitments, and ensuring effective implementation at the national level. Now, it is important to remember that it is crucial that we reinforce the sense of urgency that the South African Parliament and the broader African legislative sector possesses. We must send a strong message that Africa is not merely a passive field of action, but an equal, proactive and prominent player in global governance and public discourse.
And just to add on to that, that the P20 is a structure of the speakers of the countries of the G20. And as South Africa is now the leader of the G20 countries, the first African country, by the way, to be chairing the G20, it will now, the speakers will also have a structure called the P20.
And that is the Deputy President escort making its way into the Cape Town City Hall. And as you would have seen in front that Seppo, we had 10 motorbikes that were escorting the Deputy President, and we are expecting to see 20 motorbikes that will be escorting the Deputy President. And there is the Deputy President about to make his way out of that vehicle and into the City Hall.
And the Deputy President is Mr. Paul Mashatile, and those are the scenes that you are seeing. He has arrived at the hashtag SONA 2025. And of course, he is being met by one of the dignitaries of Parliament. And of course, he's going to make his way into the chamber as one of the VVIPs of the State of the Nation address.
All right,
he's been greeted as well by the Deputy Speaker and also by the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces before he makes his way into the chamber.
And once the Deputy President walks in, we can then expect to see the Speaker of the National Assembly as well as the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, who will be making their way and to wait for the President to arrive and to receive the President.
And of course, that is the Secretary to the National Assembly, Mr. Masibulele Khaso, and he is with the Deputy President, Mr. Paul Mashatile, who is accompanied by the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Annelie Lotriet, and the Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Mr. Les Gavanda.
And in the green dress is the Deputy President's wife, Mrs. Mashatile, there with the Deputy President, the Deputy Speaker, and the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces.
Of course, we await the President's arrival now in much anticipation of what he has to outline in the State of the Nation address. The first in the 7th administration of Parliament since the elections, and the first since the establishment of the Government of National Unity.
We are exactly 19 minutes away from listening to the President of the Republic of South Africa delivering his first State of the Nation address for the 7th Parliament under the Government of National Unity. And I'm happy, Maseko, that you provided clarity to our viewers on today's event vis-a-vis the event that took place on the 18th of July in 2022, which 2024.
Are you that
yes. Which we had already indicated that it was an opening of Parliament address, an event that happens once every 5 years following the general elections and also the swearing in of the President.
Of course, then SONA represents the highest level of executive accountability within South Africa's constitutional democracy. Through SONA, Parliament fosters government transparency and oversight, uniting the nation across all divides and holding the executive accountable for realizing citizens' aspirations for a better life. Now, with that, Parliament's oversight agenda is guided by the policy priorities announced by the President during the opening of Parliament. Now, this year's SONA will take on added significance as it officially launches Parliament's oversight role in the implementation of G20 decisions. South Africa's G20 presidency prioritizes addressing pressing domestic challenges including slow economic growth, unemployment, poverty, and inequality. It offers a unique opportunity to align international priorities with local legislative actions, enabling a coherent and coordinated approach to shared challenges. As such, SONA 2025 must spotlight South Africa's commitment to fostering dialogue on critical issues such as trade, technology, governance accountability, and the synchronization of global and local efforts to address national challenges through international collaboration.
Maybe it will also be nice to give our viewers just to listen to that musical item that is currently playing in the background. Such a wonderful musical item that is currently playing as we await the arrival of the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, who will receive the President. Let's listen to this musical piece.
The City Hall to do the 21 gun salute, and also for the singing of the national anthem.
Of course, this is the much anticipated arrival of the president as he is scheduled to outline his key priorities for the year ahead in his State of the Nation address. And this is scheduled for 7 p.m. Of course, he is with the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Thoko Didiza, and the National Council of Provinces Chairperson, Ms. Refile Mtsweni-Tsibane, and they will be making their way to the podium right in front of the military procession where the 21-gun salute will happen, and the flyover, the famous flyover that happens each SONA. And this is a paying homage to their Commander-in-Chief.
And as you can see there on the screen, the president waiting. He is with the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Thoko Didiza, as well as the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Refile Mtsweni-Tsibane. And right in front of the president, you'll see those two, they are 8 camps, as they are called, 8 camps. They are there to assist the president and will stay with the president until he concludes the delivery of the State of the Nation address, even though the other members of the South African National Defence Force will withdraw as soon as the president has entered the chamber. But the two that are within the eight camps will remain with the president. They will be outside the doors of the chamber whilst the president is delivering the State of the Nation address. Let's listen to sound.
elihlambulukileyo umongameli wesizwe. Ndiyekeni ntateze nthathe njewule nakumthako omnyama nje bosepho umbhayibhayi kwezopolitiko kalokeni enye yokududuba bengazuluqaba uzuthi wakunyuka loo ntaba ungalibali ukunyeka emva ukuzuthi wakudibana nemidlambila kwingcaphu yentaba umemeza ucamaku mathola amnyama eAfrika qhubeka kusiphatha ngezo zandla zingenamikhinqi nditsho wena sifuba sibanzi sokweleka abasweleyo xhalabali banzi lokothula imithole kwabasindwayo nditsho wena sangola hachivase muduhulu waralusiwelo matamelo a hero with roots in Soweto, the son of the soil, a man of courage with strength and grace. You are the voice to the voiceless, an eye to the blind, and a shoulder to the disabled. Ndlovena babata yaleka namabantu bakho ulapho nje ubekwe ngokuthenjwa nditsho wena Ramaphosa Ntoka Samueli mawethu ilanga liyashona amasoma khalisa amakhwelo igusha ziququzelela ngasekhaya mandikuyeke my president mandikuyeke my cupcake ndirham.
Order, honorable members. Honorable members, there will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. As we do that, may we please acknowledge our fallen members of the armed forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you, and please be seated. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, the President has called this joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces in terms of Section 84, subsection 2D of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, read with Joint Rule 13, subsection 1A, to deliver his State of the Nation address to Parliament. I now call on the Honourable the President to address the joint sitting. Order, honourable members. Order, honourable members, can we please take our seats? Honourable members, can we please take your seat and allow the President to address the House and the nation?
Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Toko Didiza, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Refilwe Ntshweni-Tsipane, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, Chief Justice of the Republic, Mandisa Maya, and Judges President, former President of the Republic, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, former President former President Kgalema Motlanthe, former Deputy President David Mabuza, former Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Baleka Mbete, former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Lichisa Tsinodi, and former Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Amos Masondo, Mayor of the City of Cape Town, Mr. Gordon Hill-Lewis, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, regional deans, and heads of missions, members of Parliament, and fellow South Africans. We gather here as we mourn the death and tragic death and devastating loss of 14 South African soldiers who were part of a mission to bring peace to the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. We pay tribute and bow our heads to Staff Sergeant William Eddie Ola, Staff Sergeant Mulahlehi Ishmael Mulahlehi, Staff Sergeant Shahlane Theophilus Siepe, Corporal Matume Justice Malisa, Corporal Renae Nemabudani, Lance Bombardier Itumeleng MacDonald Mureo, Lance Corporal Tseke Moffat Molapo, Lance Corporal Metsi Stensley Raswiswi, Rifleman Sibatane Richard Chokwe, Rifleman Derek Maluleke, Rifleman Sidiso Andris Mabele, Rifleman Calvin Louis Moahi, Rifleman Moketi Joseph Mobe, Private Peter Jacobus Strado. Speaker, I thank you for getting us to honor these fallen heroes. I have directed that a national flag be flown at half-mast in honor of these fallen heroes for a week starting from tomorrow morning. Alongside soldiers from other southern African countries, they lost their lives in defense of the fundamental right of the Congolese people to live in peace and security. They lost their lives not in the pursuit of resources or territory or power. They lost their lives so that the guns on our continent may be forever silenced. So we salute them. My fellow South Africans, this State of the Nation address is taking place as we celebrate 70 years since the adoption of the Freedom Charter at the Congress of the People in Kliptown in 1955. The Freedom Charter is the cornerstone of our democratic constitution. It sets out a vision of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous South Africa. It also sets out a vision of a country in which government is founded on the will of the people of South Africa, where the land is shared among those who work it, where the people share in the country's wealth and in all that the country produces and are all equal before the law. It is this vision that continues to guide us as we work to build the nation that we all want. It is the spirit of the Congress of the People that inspires us as we prepare for a national dialogue in which South Africans are once again called upon to chart a new path for our country. We must chart this path in a world that is rapidly changing. It is a world of both interdependence and competition, of cooperation and conflict. It is a multipolar world in which new countries are emerging to play a greater role in global affairs. We are seeing intensifying competition over issues such as trade, technology, and influence in global institutions. There are global fundamental shifts underway that affect every aspect of human life, from the growing impact of climate change to rapid advances in artificial intelligence, geopolitical tensions, and violent conflicts. In the face of these challenges, we are witnessing the rise of nationalism, protectionism, the pursuit of narrow interests, and the decline of common cause. This is the world that we, as South Africa, a developing economy, must now navigate. But we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied. We will stand together as a united nation, and we will speak with one voice in defense of our national interests, our sovereignty, and our constitutional democracy. By standing true to our values, by harnessing our unique strengths and endowments, and by forging a common purpose, we can turn these trying circumstances to our advantage and propel our country forward. As South Africans, we stand for peace and justice. We stand for equality and solidarity. We stand for a non-racial future, and we stand for democracy and tolerance as well as compassion. We stand for equal rights for women, for persons with disability, and for members of the LGBTQIA+ community. We stand for our shared humanity, not for the survival of the fittest. So this evening, let us speak of the nation that we want. Let us speak of the future that we want to build. Let us speak of the work that we as South Africans must do, and the work that we are doing to build that nation and to build that future. We want a nation united in its diversity. At many difficult moments in our past, we found strength in working together towards a common goal. Through partnership, we brought peace and democracy to our country, which was once troubled. We overcame apartheid, a crime against humanity that denied people their human rights, that deprived them of the land and livelihoods, that sought to strip them of their dignity, that humiliated them. Through partnership, we overcame a devastating pandemic, and rebuilt our country in the wake of state capture as well. Together, we have built durable institutions that support our democracy, that protect our fundamental rights and promote the well-being of South Africans. We have built meaningful partnerships between government and business and labor and civil society and other social partners to drive growth and development. These stand as models of cooperation for the rest of the world. South Africans are continuing to work together to confront our country's challenges and build a nation that works for all. Guided by the wishes of the people as expressed in last year's elections, we have formed a government of national unity to give expression to our culture of cooperation. As political parties, we have set aside our differences and agreed to work together for the good of all South Africans. In the last week, we have adopted the Medium-Term Development Plan, which sets out a clear and ambitious program for the next 5 years. The actions contained in the Medium-Term Development Plan will advance our 3 strategic priorities. Firstly, to drive inclusive growth and job creation. Secondly, to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living. And thirdly, to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Our most urgent task is to grow our economy so that we can create jobs, reduce poverty, and improve the lives of South Africans. To undertake this task, we need a government that works for the people. We need a state that is capable, competent, underpinned by a professional public service. South Africans want a state that treats all people with dignity, humility, and respect. A state with leaders who are prepared to serve our people with complete dedication, and public servants who are ethical, skilled, and properly qualified. To achieve these objectives, we are strengthening the role of the Public Service Commission in the appointment of key people who direct the affairs of our state, such as Directors General, Deputy Directors General, Chief Executive Officers of SOEs and board members and other senior positions. We will introduce a graduate recruitment scheme so that we may attract the best and the brightest in the public service. A capable state must start where our people live and work. In many cities and towns across our country, roads are not maintained. Water and electricity supply is often disrupted. Refuse is not collected, and sewage runs in the streets. In part, this has happened because many municipalities lack the technical skills and resources required to meet our people's needs. Many municipalities have not reinvested the revenue they earn or collect from these services into the upkeep of infrastructure. Starting this year, we will work with our municipalities to establish professionally managed ring-fenced utilities for water and electricity services to ensure that there is adequate investment and maintenance. Many of the challenges in municipalities also arise from the design of our local government system. We will therefore undertake extensive consultation to develop an updated white paper on local government to outline a modern and fit-for-purpose local government system. We will also review the funding model for municipalities. We will do so because many of our municipalities truly do not have a viable and sustainable revenue base. We will work with traditional leaders in the implementation of local development programs. We will also seek to work with our traditional leaders in ensuring that they continue their own work as we give them the recognition as the natural and indigenous leaders of our people. We will expand our support to municipalities that require assistance, drawing on the lessons of the Presidential eThekwini Working Group. We are seeing great progress in eThekwini as we implement the district development model, which enables all key role players, as in government, business, labor, and community-based organizations, to work together. As we work to reform the public service and build the capability of the state, we will harness technology to transform the way government works. We will invest in digital public infrastructure to give South Africans access to government services anytime, anywhere, through a relaunched government gov.za platform. At the heart of this transformation will be the implementation of a digital identity system. Now, these measures will in the end transform the relationship between citizens and government and create one government that is accessible to every person at a touch. We want a nation with a thriving economy, an economy that benefits all. To create this virtuous cycle of investment, growth, and jobs, we must lift economic growth to above 3%. To achieve higher levels of economic growth, we are undertaking massive investment in new infrastructure while upgrading and maintaining the infrastructure that we have. We are developing innovative ways of funding infrastructure. We are engaging local and international finance institutions and investors to unlock 100 billion rand in infrastructure financing. A project preparation bid window has been launched to fast-track investment readiness. This includes revised regulations for public-private partnerships, which will unlock private sector expertise and funds. And government will spend more than 940 billion rand on infrastructure over the next 3 years. Now, this includes 375 billion rand in spending by state-owned enterprises. This funding will revitalize our roads and bridges. It will build dams and waterways. It will modernize our ports and airports and also power our economy. Through the infrastructure fund that we launched some time ago, 12 blended finance projects worth nearly 38 billion rand have been approved in the last year. These are projects in water and sanitation, student accommodation, transport, health and energy as well. Construction of the M10 bridge in the Eastern Cape, the construction continues. This bridge will rise above the river between Port Edward and Lusikisiki and will become the tallest bridge in Africa. The Podihadi Dam in Lesotho will feed 490 million cubic liters of water a year from the Lesotho highlands into the Vaal River system, securing water supply to several provinces for years to come. Working with international partners, we are revitalizing small harbors, unlocking economic opportunities for coastal communities. We're also looking very closely at the harbor that we will build in the Northern Cape, in Bochubai, because that is going to be a game changer for the Northern Cape. We are steadily removing the obstacles to meaningful and faster growth. The economic reforms that we are implementing through Operation Vulindlela have created a new sense of optimism and confidence in our economy. Investors are looking at South Africa with much more interesting eyes as they see the reforms that we are implemented through Vulindlela. We have made progress in rebuilding and restructuring a number of our network industries. We are seeing positive results in the improvement of the functioning of our network industries as well as the investment opportunities that are opening up and are being taken up by investors, leading to job creation. Working together with business, labor and other social partners, we must now finish the work that we started. Over the coming year, we will initiate a second wave of reform to unleash more rapid and inclusive growth. Our immediate focus is to enable Eskom, Transnet and other state-owned enterprises that are vital to our economy to function optimally. We are repositioning these entities to provide world-class infrastructure while enabling competition in operations, whether in electricity generation, freight, rail, or port terminals. We continue with the fundamental reform of our state-owned enterprises to ensure that they can effectively fulfill their social and economic mandates. Now, this includes the work underway to put in place a new model to strengthen governance and oversight of our public entities. We will ensure public ownership of strategic infrastructure for public benefit while finding innovative ways to attract private investment, to improve services, and to ensure public revenue can be focused on the provision of public services. We are in the process of establishing a dedicated SOE reform unit to coordinate this work. The measures we have implemented through the Energy Action Plan have reduced the severity and frequency of load shedding, with more than 300 days without load shedding since March 2024. Now, while the return of load shedding for 2 days last week was a reminder that our energy supply is still constrained, we remain on a very positive trajectory, whether people like it or not. We now need to put the risk of load shedding behind us once and for all. And the Minister of Electricity will speak about it in about 2 weeks or so when he presents to Parliament. We need to put that once and for all behind us by completing the reform of our energy system to ensure long-term energy security. The Electricity Regulation Amendment Act, which came into effect on the 1st of January, marks the beginning of a new era in our energy architecture. This year, we will put in place the building blocks of a competitive electricity market. Over time, this will allow multiple electricity generation entities to emerge and to compete. We will mobilize private sector investment in our transmission network to connect more renewable energy to the grid. The Minister will tell us that we still need to install 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines. We therefore need to mobilize finance from a number of sources to enable this to happen. As we reform our energy system, we are continuing to build successful multilateral partnerships in the global effort to halt the devastating impact of climate change. Our just energy transition is gaining momentum. Over $13 billion have been pledged by the international community, and significant private capital is being invested locally. We are determined to meet our carbon reduction commitments and will do so at a pace and at a scale that our country can afford. We are revitalizing our port terminals and rail corridors through the Freight Logistics Roadmap, which was adopted by Cabinet, leveraging private capital to restore our logistics infrastructure to world-class standards. Transnet's performance has stabilized and is steadily improving. We released a network statement in December last year, which for the first time will enable private rail operators to access the freight rail system that will continue to be owned by the state. Open access to the rail network will allow train operation companies to increase the volume of goods transported by rail, while our network infrastructure remains state-owned. This will ensure that South African minerals, the vehicles that we manufacture, our agricultural produce reach international markets, securing jobs and earning much-needed revenue for our fiscus. New cranes and other port equipment are being commissioned to speed up the loading and unloading of cargo and reduce waiting times for ships in our various ports. As we forge ahead with the reform agenda, an urgent priority is to ensure a secure and reliable supply of water across the country. Many people in our cities, towns, and villages are experiencing more and more frequent water shortages as a result of failing water infrastructure. It is impossible to live without water, as we all know, and it is impossible for the economy to grow without water. We are therefore taking a series of decisive actions to resolve the water crisis to enable our people to get water where they live, whether in townships or in the rural areas. We are investing heavily in expanding our water resources. Wherever one goes in our country, we often hear our citizens raising the issue of water continuously. So we are raising this issue to a much higher level. And like we did with electricity, I know and I am hopeful that we will resolve the water crisis that we have. Loko famba uya atindaweni to tala u kuma ku ri vakhegulu va rila hi yona mhaka leyi ya mati. Va ku byela ku ri hi hava mati, hi lava ku ri hulumeni a hi tisela mati, hi ta swi endla swaleswo. Hi lava ku ri mi tiva kahle laha mi nga tshama kona ku ri mati a ta va kona, hi ta wa tisa mi wa kuma. To date, the Infrastructure Fund has secured 23 billion rand for 7 large water infrastructure projects. We have ended delays in major water infrastructure projects like Phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project and the Umkomazi Dam. Work is underway to prepare for construction of the Ntabelanga Dam on the Umzimvubu River to supply additional water for domestic use as well as for irrigation in the Eastern Cape. Within the next year, we will complete the establishment of the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency to unlock much greater investment in water projects. Through the Water Services Amendment Bill, we will introduce a licensing system for water service providers and remove licenses where providers do not meet the standards for quality drinking water. As part of our reform agenda, we will ensure that our focus on water is intensive and it speeds up. As we move ahead with our reform processes, we will continue to enhance our visa system to make it easier for skilled people to invest in our country and to grow tourism. This year, we will launch the electronic travel authorization system to enable a secure, fully digital visa application process. Now, this system will use artificial intelligence and automation to reduce the scope of corruption and enable rapid turnaround times for tourist visas. We have cleared over 90% of the backlog of more than 300,000 visa applications. Now, in many ways, these changes that are underway, these reforms that we're implementing, send a very strong message that South Africa is indeed open for business and tourism. As we open for tourism, the Chinese market, the Indian market, the market in the Middle East, the market in Europe and all over are waiting to come as tourists to our country. We want a nation in which prosperity and opportunity is shared by all. For many decades, our economy has been held back by the exclusion of the vast majority of South Africa's people. Black South Africans were deprived of land, of capital, of skills, and of opportunities. Our economy was starved of the potential that it has. And this is why we need to transform our economy and to make it more inclusive. That is why our focus is on empowering our people, on empowering women and persons with disabilities, because they were deliberately excluded from playing a role in the economy of their own country. And we will set up a transformation fund worth 20 billion rand a year over the next 5 years to fund Black-owned and small business enterprises. We will fast-track the regulations of the Public Procurement Act to ensure that businesses that are owned by women, by young people, and persons with disabilities receive equitable opportunities in government contracts. And we have started and will continue to train women entrepreneurs to enable them to compete for government tenders. In November last year, we launched the National Skills Fund Disabilities Program. In its first phase, this transformative initiative will empower over 10,000 persons with disabilities through tailoring training for them and through ensuring that they get stipends and specialized tools. This part of the work we must undertake as business, as government and labor and civil society to enable people with disabilities to play an important role in the economy of our country. For far too long, they've been relegated to the back rooms of everything. Through these programs, we are not only righting a grave historical wrong, we are unleashing the potential of our economy for sustained growth. We want a nation where there is work for all, where every person can earn a decent living and realize their potential, where the rights of workers are protected and working conditions are improved, where women and men receive equal pay for work of equal value. We need to ensure that growth creates jobs for all, and especially for young people. The success of the presidential employment stimulus shows how public employment programs can create meaningful work that generates a wider benefit and contributes to sustainable employment. The employment stimulus that we introduced during the COVID period has created almost 2.2 million work and livelihood opportunities through innovative models that provide high-quality work to participants. The Social Employment Fund has created over 80,000 jobs this year. It has supported more than 12,000 participants to enter entrepreneurial activities. During the past year, young people secured 235,000 work opportunities through the National Pathway Management Network. And this is underpinned by the SA Youth Mobi platform. We now need to build on these innovative programs to create jobs for young people at ever greater scale. And to create jobs, we must leverage our unique strengths as well as our unrealized potential to build the industries of the future, as in green manufacturing, renewable energy, electrical vehicles, and the digital economy that is also driven by artificial intelligence. This year, we will finalize a modernized and comprehensive industrial policy that drives economic growth. We will achieve this ambition by focusing on the opportunities in localization, diversification, digitization, and decarbonization. We are working towards the full implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will tear down the barriers to trade on our continent. As the most industrialized economy on the African continent, we are positioning ourselves to be at the center of this new growing market. We are harnessing the sun and the wind to make our country a leader in renewable energy and green manufacturing. With an abundance of cheap green energy, we can produce products that are competitive anywhere in the world and create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in this process. We are making sustainable use of the rich abundance of the South African earth by supporting our farmers, improving our logistics network and rural supply chains, and opening new export markets for products that we grow or produce. We can significantly expand our agricultural sector. We want South Africa to be leading in the commercial production of products such as hemp and cannabis, a product that is so well known in the Eastern Cape and KZN, a product that our forebears have produced for generations and generations. We can add modern value to it and bring it to the shelves of the entire world. We are breathing new life into the mining industry, which remains one of our most important and valuable endowments. I often say that mining was the bedrock on which our economy was built, and it continues to be a sunrise industry. We are on track to implement a new, modern, and transparent mining rights system this year, which will unlock investment in exploration and production. We will put in place an enabling policy as well as a regulatory framework for critical minerals. By beneficiating these minerals here in South Africa, we can make use of the extraordinary wealth that lies beneath our soil for the benefit of our people. Even more valuable than our natural resources are the diversity, the energy, and the talent of the people of this country. The services sector is now the largest part of our economy, ranging from financial services to retail, hospitality, tourism, and the burgeoning creative industry. The tourism sector is growing rapidly, with close on to 9 million tourists having visited our country last year. One of the attractive sites in our country, which we want to see growing more and more, is Robben Island. I visited Robben Island on the 8th of January. And I got to hear that in a year they are now going to receive 300,000. They want to grow it to 500,000 visitors in a year. And most of these visitors are South Africans. So we will grow tourism through our visa reforms, through increasing the number of flights to key destinations, and through the marketing of our country as the best country to visit in the world. And we have also seen strong growth in digital services, as well as business process outsourcing, as well as data centers. As the need for data grows in the world, our country is seen as a reservoir of having data centers. And this is continuing to create jobs for young people. To support this growth, we are investing in skills development for the industries of the future. The Jobs Boost Fund has pioneered a new model that links funding for skills in demand for the successful placement and particularly employment of young people. We are expanding our support for small and medium enterprises and for the informal economy, which sustains millions of jobs as well as livelihoods across our country. This includes streamlining funding for small businesses, unlocking venture capital for high-growth startups, and developing a regulatory environment that enables rather than restricts informal enterprises. To build an innovative economy, the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation will establish an innovation fund to provide venture capital to tech startups that emerge from our higher education institutions. We are calling on business to use the SA Youth Mobi platform, which currently has some 4.5 million young people registered for their hiring purposes. We're calling on business to support the Youth Employment Service to scale up workplace experience opportunities over the coming year. We want a nation where no one goes hungry. For 30 years, since the dawn of democracy, we have worked together to reduce poverty. Today, our country spends around 60% of our national budget on the social wage, on health, on education, on social protection, community development, and public employment programs. More than 28 million unemployed and vulnerable people in our country receive social assistance. More than 10.5 million learners go to public schools where they do not have to pay fees. Last year, over 900,000 students from poor working-class backgrounds and poor families and working-class backgrounds received funding to study at universities and colleges. Now, through these programs, we are alleviating the worst effects of poverty. We are providing the means through which South Africans can rise above poverty that has been passed down from one generation to the next. But we have much to do, and much more work needs to be done to end poverty in our country. We must do much more to ensure that women in particular no longer face the hopeless task to feed and clothe their children. While government invests heavily to support poor and unemployed people, these programs are fragmented and sometimes they are difficult to access. We are therefore building an integrated system of support for poor and unemployed people. We are strengthening existing programs from job search support to public employment and making sure that together they provide people with pathways out of poverty. Rather than expecting those in need to approach several government agencies separately, a citizen should be able to go to one place to receive all the support that they need. To protect the gains that we have made since 1994 in advancing children's rights, we will adopt the National Strategy to Accelerate Action for Children, which focuses on 10 key priorities, including poverty reduction, child protection, and addressing malnutrition. The Social Relief Distress Grant is an essential mechanism for alleviating extreme poverty. We will use this grant as a basis for the introduction of a more sustainable form of income support for unemployed people. Now, central to our efforts to end poverty and to develop our economy is to provide decent, quality education to every South African. We are immensely proud of the achievements of the matric class of 2024. It's a class which achieved the highest pass rate in our country's history. Now, 87% of learners who sat for their matric exams passed. For the first time in the history of our country, nearly half of these learners achieved bachelor pass. Nothing can diminish, frankly, nothing can diminish our pride in the hard work of these learners and the steady support of their teachers, parents, and broader community. And let us give them a big round of applause. We should all be proud of the class of 2024. But our immediate focus is to expand access to early childhood development for every child. Now, this will be achieved through registering and formalizing existing ECD centers and ensuring that they have the facilities, the training and material that they need to provide quality learning. We will focus on ensuring that every child can read for meaning in the foundation phase to set them up for success in later years. To achieve this, we are implementing mother tongue-based bilingual education. We do this to improve literacy and numeracy, and rolling out lessons plans, reading books, and other interventions that have been proven to work. The Funza Lushaka bursary scheme will continue to prioritize students who want to pursue a teaching career in the foundation phase. Last year, we signed the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, which was passed by this Parliament. Now, this act is pivotal for ensuring that education is accessible and is inclusive for all South Africans. This year, the Minister of Basic Education will introduce national policy, the norms and the standards and regulations to empower all partners in the basic education field to support the implementation of the Act. Now, to ensure that the economy has the skills that it needs, we are increasing the production of artisans through TVET colleges. Now, this is part of the shift we are undertaking towards education and skills development that combines formal learning with job training. Now, drawing on the models that have proven to be so successful in other countries, we're calling on the private sector to offer young people experiential learning opportunities while they undertake their studies. We are implementing phase 1 of the comprehensive student funding model for higher education to address the needs of the missing middle. This will support approximately 10,000 students in the first year. We want a nation in which there is quality health care for all. This year, we will proceed with the preparatory work for the establishment of the National Health Insurance. Now, this includes developing the first phase of a single electronic health record system, the preparatory work to establish the ministerial advisory committees on the health technologies and healthcare benefits, and an accreditation framework for health service providers. The NHI will reduce inequalities in healthcare by ensuring that everyone gets fair medical treatment. Now, the NHI will save many lives by providing a package of services that include, for example, even more especially, maternal and newborn care and services also for people living with HIV, those with TB, and those suffering from non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Our most immediate priority is to strengthen the health system and improve the quality of care. A vital part of this is the modernization, the improvement, and the maintenance of existing health facilities and the construction of new hospitals and clinics. A number of hospitals are under construction or are undergoing revitalization. Now, these include the Limpopo Central Hospital, the Siloam District Hospital in Limpopo, the Tlhabeng Regional Hospital in the Free State, the Bambisana District Hospital, Zitulele District Hospital in the Eastern Cape, and the Buphelong Psychiatric Hospital in Northwest. Now, our projects, rather other projects, are at various stages of design and development. Now, this includes the replacement of 3 existing new central hospitals, 5 new district hospitals, 5 community health centers, and a new psychiatric hospital. To improve patient experience, we are putting more emphasis on reducing waiting times, cleanliness, and staff attitudes in the public health facilities. We are encouraged by the great progress the country has made towards ending HIV and AIDS as a public health threat. By the end of March 2024, 96% of people living with HIV knew their status. 79% of these were on antiretroviral treatment, and 94% of these were on treatment with virally suppressed conditions. Now, to ensure that we reach the target of 95, 95, 95, which has been set by the World Health Organization, we will this year launch a massive campaign to look for an additional 1.1 million people who are not yet on treatment. We are concerned about the potential impact of the decision by the United States government to suspend some of its funding for HIV and TB programs in African countries for 90 days. Now, this funding that we get accounts for about 17% of our country's HIV spend. We have been able, over the years, to provide funding from our own resources, our own fiscus, for our HIV and TB programs. We are looking at various interventions to address the immediate needs and ensure the continuity of the essential services that we might lose if this funding does not come through. Now, to tackle inequality, we do need to undo apartheid special planning, which has scarred our country, our cities, and forced many people to live far away from areas of work and opportunity. We have delivered millions of housing opportunities since 1994, providing safety as well as dignity to poor households. Yet the practice of building housing developments on the periphery of urban centers has in many ways perpetuated inequality and urban sprawl. Going forward, we are going to build more housing in our city centers and closer to places of work and business. Now, we are redesigning our housing subsidies and directing more funding towards programs that enable people to buy or rent a home in an area of their choice. We will release more underutilized state properties for affordable housing development. And we are working with our provinces and metros, and I'm glad that a number of our premiers are here as well. We're working with them to reclaim buildings that have been hijacked in the city centers and repurpose them for public use. Now, we will provide 300,000 service stands to qualifying beneficiaries to enable housing development in well-planned, connected communities along key development corridors. We will clear the backlog of title deeds for subsidized housing, turning homes into household assets. And we will review land use, building, and other regulations to enable low-cost property development, including backyard housing. This represents a fundamental rethink of how the state delivers housing at scale while turning our cities into engines of growth and opportunity. In making our cities work for their residents, we will restore the remaining passenger rail corridors and stations to full service. More than 80% of passenger rail corridors have been returned to service. Now, PRASA has introduced over 200 modern, locally produced trains on its network to provide a low-cost option for public transport. Over the next 5 years, we will restore PRASA's signaling system so that we can put all our new trains to work and commuters can be assured that they can reach work safely, affordably, and on time. Now, we also want a nation in which everyone is safe. The police continue to work with other law enforcement agencies to dismantle organized crime syndicates and combat financial and violent crimes. The South African police has partnered with the metropolitan municipalities and continues to work with communities to fight crime in the priority provinces where crime is particularly high. Now, we are intensifying Operation Shanela. Shanela has been successful in arresting suspects, recovering firearms, and seizing stolen vehicles. And we must continue to tackle the scourge of gun violence that has continued to plague our society for decades. I have asked the Minister and the National Commissioner of Police to prioritize reducing gun-related crime and violence. Now, this includes preventing the diversion of firearms into the illicit market and recovering illegal firearms in circulation. We know from international evidence and our own experience that this is the most effective way to reduce overall violence. Analytics and smart policing solutions for modern law enforcement. We have seen the value of technology in fighting crime, and a number of countries that have opted to utilizing technology have made great progress. And by utilizing artificial intelligence in its fraud risk detection and verification work, SARS has prevented the leakage of over 95 billion rand in impermissible refunds. It has recovered 20 billion in revenue and dismantled an illicit tobacco and gold scheme. We continue to work across society to end the violence that is perpetrated against women. We have promulgated the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Act, establishing a national structure to oversee a coordinated response to this crisis. We will ensure that the Council is fully functional and properly resourced. We continue to strengthen support to victims of gender-based violence. There are now 65 Tutuzela centers across the country. Out of the 52 districts in our country, 44 have gender-based violence shelters. All police stations in the country now have victim-friendly services. And another 16 sexual offences courts will be established in the next financial year. Now, we want a nation that deals with corruption. Last year, we established the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption as a permanent entity of the NPA dedicated to investigating and prosecuting high-level corruption. We will ensure that the Directorate is fully resourced and have access to information that it needs to prosecute state capture cases and hold those responsible to account. We are establishing a world-class digital forensic lab to support the investigation of complex corruption and financial crime. We are making steady progress in implementation of the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, including signing into law several legislative reforms. The Special Investigating Unit and Asset Forfeiture Unit report that over 10 billion rand has been recovered in state capture-related cases. Now, this year, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Department will report on the review of the Anti-Corruption Architecture National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council. This is expected to streamline legislation to eradicate duplication of mandates and foster greater cooperation between law enforcement agencies. And we will finalize the whistleblower protection framework and introduce the Whistleblower Protections Bill in Parliament during this financial year. And this year, we will strengthen South Africa's system of dealing with terror financing and further legislative systems improvements. To secure our removal from the International Financial Action Task Force grey list, we have made significant progress in addressing the weaknesses that were identified in our law enforcement system, with 16 out of 22 action items fully addressed. We want a nation that is at peace with the world. We want to continue through our international relations to advance the well-being of the people of South Africa as we seek to advance the well-being of humanity. Now, we will work to strengthen our trade relations around the world and to leverage our strong and diverse global alliances to make our economy more resilient. The key pillars of our foreign policy remain the promotion of human rights, peace and friendship, and the strengthening of fair trade and investment ties with other countries. Now, these are the principles that guide our presidency of the G20 this year.
There's not that much to say.
We have chosen the theme of solidarity, equality, and sustainable development to underscore the need for cooperation and partnership amongst the countries of the world. For the first time in its history, the G20 is being hosted on the African continent. And this is particularly important following the admission of the African Union as a member of the G20. It is a great opportunity for us to place the needs of our continent and the rest of the global South more firmly on the international development agenda. Our G20 presidency is a valuable opportunity for South Africa to advance efforts towards greater global economic growth and sustainable development. Africa remains at the center of our foreign policy. We continue to work to strengthen the African Union, to support the achievement of peace, development, and economic integration on our continent. We know that our future prosperity is intricately linked and bound to the prosperity of the African continent. For South Africa to thrive, we must ensure that Africa does indeed thrive as well. And we must silence the guns on our continent. Now, since the advent of democracy, we've been instrumental in restoring stability in countries such as Côte d'Ivoire, Burundi, South Sudan, Lesotho. More recently, we've been part of the SADC peacekeeping mission in Mozambique that has brought relative calm and stability to the Cabo Delgado province. The presence of South African peacekeepers in the eastern DRC is testament to our continued commitment to peaceful resolution of one of the world's most intractable conflicts that has gone on for years and that has cost millions of lives and displaced many people. Now, we call on all parties to embrace the current diplomatic efforts to find a peaceful resolution, including honoring the Luanda process. We will attend the joint summit between SADC and the East African Community scheduled to take place in Tanzania this weekend, where we will reiterate our call for a ceasefire and a resumption of talks to find a just and enduring solution, and we will make sure that our boys, our soldiers do come back home. We have always believed that the freedom that we won and the international solidarity from which we benefited does impose a duty on us to support the struggles of those who continue to experience colonialism and oppression. South Africa continues to stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine, who have endured decades of illegal occupation and are now experiencing indescribable suffering. And South Africa has acted in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention by instituting proceedings against Israel in the International Court of Justice. We are fully committed to the articles of the United Nations, including the principles that all members should settle their international disputes by peaceful means. We support the principle of respect of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all states and peoples. We continue to participate in the different peace processes seeking to bring about a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. South African delegations have been instrumental in developing a framework for negotiations towards a just peace in Ukraine based on the UN Charter and international law. Our country continues to advance its agenda of cooperation and multilateralism through its membership of the United Nations, the African Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, BRICS, and a number of other international bodies. As humanity confronts unprecedented challenges, we are determined that a reformed and representative United Nations must be at the center of global affairs, and we will continue to push for progress on the reform of the UN Security Council to be a more inclusive, more effective body that is able to ensure peace and security. And we will work to ensure that the needs of the people of the world are advanced. And the work that we do and what we stand for does need to be explained to many key players, especially to our trading partners and the many countries and leaders that we interact with on the global stage. And with a view of explaining the positions that we have taken, and in particular, the objectives that we wish to achieve during our presidency of the G20, I have decided to send a delegation of government and other leaders to various capitals on our continent across the world. This delegation will interact with various key players on a variety of matters that affect South Africa's interests. I will direct that they leave as soon as possible to interact with various key players on our continent and in the world, so that our presidency of the G20 objectives can be well explained. All these things that we speak of are possible. As South Africans, we know the power of cooperation, of what is possible when people of different backgrounds, different races, cultures, languages, and ethnic groups and religions come together behind a shared objective. The formation of the Government of National Unity provides us with an opportunity to show once again that we can achieve what we can achieve by working together. And I call on all South Africans, united in our diversity, to come together in the national dialogue that we are going to have, to define a vision for our country for the next 30 years. The national dialogue must be a place where everyone has a voice. It must be a place to find solutions that make a real difference in people's lives. The dialogue must reaffirm that each and every one of us has a role to play in building the nation that we want. We must therefore be builders and not people who seek to destroy the future of South Africans. While we may differ on many issues, we agree on one thing, that we need to build a better South Africa and improve the well-being of our people, and that we should do so not by sitting on the sidelines and shouting We should be in the scrum working to develop the lives of our people. And so, as we enter the new era in the world and in our own country, let us speak of empathy, of compassion that we have for one another. Let us speak of the pride that we have of our country and all that we have achieved. Let us speak of the determination that won us freedom and drives us forward now to a better future. With this determination, we will work together to make this an era of growth, of progress and transformation. We will work together to build the nation that we want, and we will only be able to do it by working together and not by shouting together. And we will only be able to do it by ensuring that we as the leaders ensure that those who will come after us, our children and our great children, inherit a country that we have helped to build, not to destroy. Thank you very much.
Your house has not yet adjourned.
I thank the Honorable, the President. Order, honorable members. After I have adjourned the joint sitting, members should rise and remain at their places until the procession has left the chamber. The guests in the gallery should remain seated until the judiciary has left, and the ushers will indicate when the doors are open. The procession, led by the usher of the Black Rod and the acting Sergeant-at-Arms, will leave the chamber in the following order: the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the President, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the Deputy President, the Secretary to Parliament. That concludes the business for the day, and the joint sitting is adjourned. Okay. Honorable members, just one announcement. As you would recall that earlier on the changes were made with regards to the venue. Members are requested to join their spouse at the ICC. Dinner will be served and the beverages. Thank you very much.
And of course, that is the end of the State of the Nation address as delivered by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And of course, processions are leaving now, and that is the mace and the black rod. Of course, the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Refilwe Mthweni-Tsipane, outlined how the processions would leave, and she said that it would be the Speaker of the National Assembly, followed by herself, and then the one of the delegation, of course, of Parliament. Of course, we see the STP there. And of course, all the President and the Deputy President will follow, and then guests, and of course, all members.
As we had said earlier on as well, that the State of the Nation address is an opportunity for the President to set priorities for that year that he's delivering the State of the Nation address. And this year, what came out for me is also his commitment to economic growth, where he committed that there will be 100 billion that will be set aside for black-owned business and businesses owned by women as part of the transformation fund that is going to be established to fund these small businesses. And also he also made a commitment that they will women entrepreneurs will be trained so that they can also compete for tenders, so that they also get to participate in the economy, and we create an economy that is inclusive to vulnerable members also for our society, meaning the disabled people.
And of course, on your screen right now is members singing, of course, and obviously happy with the president, what the president had to outline. Of course, this is a yearly thing that we see, that after the State of the Nation address, members will break out in song in much of a celebration of the way that the president has paved for the year ahead. Of course, like Masefo said, there are some priorities that the president has outlined, including combating unemployment and ensuring that municipalities work optimally. Of course, then we are done. This was the much anticipated State of the Nation address, and we are now waiting for members to make their way out to hear their reactions as to what they think of what the president had to say. Now, obviously, we have to think about what is it that members have to say, especially members of the opposition.
Yes.
What reactions are they going to have? And of course, you can stay tuned to Parliament TV, and we will have those reactions for you. And it's going to happen outside at the City Hall right here in Cape Town.
And they can see Minister of Sports there, also Mr. Gayton McKenzie, as well there as the members are exiting the City Hall.
That is outside the Cape Town City Hall. Beautiful. And obviously that is the motorcade for the president and all the VVIPs. Of course, reactions, we're waiting for them, and members are there. And of course, let's hear what they have to say. And we'll be crossing over to Thembi Nkosi, who's right outside with the members. Let's hear some reactions.
Thank you, Tsepo and Maseko. I'm standing outside the Cape Town City Hall. The President has just concluded his State of the Nation address. We're now going to be getting reactions from the members of Parliament. And standing with me is the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Velenkosi Hlapisa. Hlekazi, siyabuleka kakhulu for uthetha no Parliament TV. Can we get your reflection on the President's address, please?
Yeah, what emerged is that South Africa must be a construction site. If South Africa can become a construction site, this will create job opportunities, infrastructure will be maintained, and he spoke much that if we want to make South Africa work, let us make the local government work. I will be championing the white paper review, as the President has tabled it, that it needs to change.